I'm live.
Okay.
All right, we are live. Thank you so much for coming. Today we're going to be drawing Spider-Man versus Venom, and
Silver Surfer again.
No Silver Surfer. It gives you the option of just putting up what you had before, and it saves all your settings, and that's kind of convenient. But then you have to think to change the name, and I didn't think so. Thank you so much to Not a Person for letting me know. All right. Oh, and thank you so much to Eric for moderating the chat for our stream. And if any of you want to draw along, I saw on Discord that a bunch of people had drawn Silver Surfer and some people drew Hulk from the week before. So hopefully some of you will. And I'm going to go into the Discord in the next couple of days and take a look at what everybody's got. I'm excited about it. It's always fun to see and give you a few comments. Let's get started drawing. Meredith, you want to say hi?
Hey everybody.
Hi, Martin Tang.
I feel
Sketch
like
Medic.
Dave and I were talking today. We're going to change the name of the chat.
Kenny Wang's here. We're going to change. Yeah. Hi, Alex Xavier. Hi. Mark Goldfine, you're here again. That's great to see you. Dude Power. That's great to see you. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming. Not a Person, you're here. That's great. All right. So here we go.
Here we go. Yeah, let's talk about how you're going to change the name of the chat, Dave.
How we change the name?
Livestream.
Yeah, we were talking about it. Meredith had awful ideas, which nobody's going to agree to, and I didn't know how to say that.
We should change it because Meredith, you're in the live stream every week. We should include the fact that you're there. We should make it Talking Comics.
I don't think we actually agreed to that. Talking comics. Yeah.
Talking comics and art.
That's it. I'm out.
With Meredith and Dave.
Oh wow.
I know I don't have a radio voice, but if I did have a radio voice, I'd totally record the intro.
Even alphabetically, I still come before you, so.
I know. If that makes you feel good, that it's all about the alphabet.
You know what? Whatever excuse I can come up with. I'm going to move his head a little bit. I want his head to be, so I'm going to have Venom here up in this area, and I want to make sure that he's stretching his neck and craning and looking at him because they're fighting, so he's looking a little.
You drawing Spider-Man first this week or Venom first?
I'm going to draw Spider-Man first because he's in the foreground, but I'm going to sketch them both in, so it's going to be a little bit longer of just a quick sketch anyway, because, and I'm looking over here because I did a quick layout, and I do that because trying to talk, and I can talk and draw. Talking and laying something out, especially if I have no idea what I'm going to do, that's a tougher thing, so, and I don't want these to be totally terrible, so I keep it in my microphone here.
So, okay, first, I know everybody wants to know how the puppy's doing because really that's why you tuned in.
Yeah, you did not get
missed seeing him last week because I think the stream cut out. But the puppy has been here a week, and he is now, knock on wood, he's not had an accident in the house today. He's going to the door to go outside and even whining if we don't recognize that he's going to the door to get outside.
He's doing great. Nobody asked a question about that, did they?
Everybody wants to know about the puppy, and okay, nobody asked about the puppy, but that's okay. I'm just giving them I'm answering the questions they didn't know they wanted to ask.
Wow, thanks.
And then the other question that did get asked by Brain Games, and now I'm totally at fault here for this one. He wants to know how Brandon Sanderson's Mistborn was, and that's the only reason why you tuned in today.
Oh no, and you have not been reading.
I haven't.
Actually, I saw you reading a book today. What was that?
I was reading a book today, but let me just say that this week I've been working on a project, and part of my work involved watching seasons of shows. So my time that I would have devoted, well, first of all, half my time was spent following the puppy around the house, making sure he didn't pee, and then cleaning up the pee. And then the rest of my time was spent watching this show, which I'm not gonna say because I don't want to give away what I'm doing. But anyway, so I haven't had as much time to read, and I didn't get a chance to order Brandon's book, and I can't go to the bookstore, so, and I refuse to read online. Refuse.
I was gonna say
reading online sucks so hard. If you read comics online, I don't even know how. I can't read comics online. It's like the worst experience ever. Books and comics are meant to be held in your hand.
All right.
All right. We got everybody here. So, Alexavier Art, what's your favorite part of making comics?
My favorite part is when I'm drawing a page or a cover, whatever it is, and I'm getting toward the end, and I'm really happy with it, and I feel great about how it came out. And sometimes it can be such a journey getting there, and you know, you go through some heartbreak, and this didn't work, and that didn't work, and it's a fight. And so when it works, and I'm happy with it, and I'm proud to turn it in, it's always my favorite part. It really is. It's just a good feeling.
My favorite part of comics is when I go back and I reread the proof before it goes to the printer. Like so the proof is like fully colored, fully lettered, ready to go. And my favorite part is when I read through and I go, gosh, that's a really good line. That editor must have made that change. And I go back just to double check, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I actually wrote that line. And then I'm impressed with myself. That's my favorite part about comics. Is that silly?
No.
Because I surprise myself sometimes. Oh, we have a super chat from Nick Lobato.
Thank you so much, Nick.
Thank you so much for the super chat. Nick wants to know, how do you draw an upturned or ant's eye of a face?
And now I'm going to be doing a video on this week, so this is coming up. But so just really quickly, a basic face. I use a Loomis method, which is I divide the lower half of the face, I guess, a little bit higher than the top. This would be the brow line. This would be the nose line. The mouth would divide again here, but I use 3 even divisions and then another even division for the top of like the forehead. Anyway, and so I've got an eye here, my nose, my mouth, and that's basically a face. And so to turn it upward, what I do is I use my same form, and here's my brow line, my nose line, my chin line, and they all actually get shorter because they're going back in perspective. And then it gets a little more complex because my nose, the bottom of the, you know what, I'm going to zoom in. I don't even know if this is going to show up, so wasn't planning on zooming in so fast, but let's zoom in. All right.
With this new camera.
I got a new camera. So I think it looks better. I think it does look better on the screen. Okay, so there's my nose, the bottom of the nose with the nostrils, just a simple shape. Here's my brow line, so I'm going to draw an inset for the eyes here. And then the eyes would rest fairly low in there. And then my mouth is here. What an awful sketch this is. This is like the worst.
I mean, you think Meredith drew that. And
even, I didn't actually give myself, I've got my chin line up here. It was too short, so I lengthened it out.
You didn't even get my joke.
I got your joke. I ignored it. So there's the head, you know, simply turned up. And when it comes to the eyes themselves, I will cover that more this week. It starts to get into, but, you know, oh, what a mess.
Yeah, tune in on Tuesday.
I can totally draw a head from this angle, believe it or not. It was, you know what, my pencil's not sharp. That's what it is.
Oh, there's always an excuse. While you're doing that, I just want to say thank you to Jerry Lang for his super chat.
Oh, thank you, Jerry Lang. Yeah, it's great to see him here.
Didn't have a question. You just want to give us a super chat. And
all right, I'm going to spend forever on this thing.
As you're doing this, Jerry also did a cover for my book Rose from Image Comics.
He did, which turned out beautifully. He's a phenomenal artist, a great designer. I don't want to come off the page with my sketch here.
Did you move on from the eye?
I did.
You ban and chip. All right, we have another super chat question from Jeffrey Niffen. Hey, Jeffrey, good to see you again this week.
Thank you so much, Jeffrey. I appreciate the super chat.
He says, can you do a montage movie poster style cover tutorial? A la Drew Struzan style cover.
Oof. You know, I think that is a great idea, actually.
Maybe for like a stream coming.
Yeah, I don't get to do those enough because basically every single cover I ever get asked for is this character fighting that character constantly, every single cover. And it would be fun to, you know, do something a little bit more, yeah, like a movie poster. And there is I don't know if there's a technique so much to doing it as, it comes down to just arranging shapes and composition, you know. So, and it's a lot of fun. I really enjoy it. I don't get to do it enough. So yeah, I think that would be a lot of fun.
All right, I'm scrolling back through the streams. Killer Tacos is going back to school, so this is his last time catching us.
Well, thank you so much for coming again, Killer Tacos. I really appreciate it, as always. It's good to see you here while we have you.
And Mark Wolfine says we should call it the Dave and Meredith comic sitcom show.
I just personally, I just want to say that any name that has, Dave and Meredith.
You're the one that brought it up.
Okay, so here's actually why. Because we are having a little trouble with Sunday night and we're thinking about going to Monday. So that's kind of what we're looking at, and we haven't made any decisions that way. And I said I can't call it a Sunday night live stream if it's going to be on Monday. So we were thinking about
you're the one that said we should include your name in it.
And I think we should, but
I'm only here every week.
Not officially. It's just being nice. I didn't think you'd take it seriously.
Oh no, I'm totally gonna make you do it now. SCF Powerlifting's in the house. Hey SCS.
Great to see you. Thank you for coming.
He has a super chat, and he said he had a rough workout today. Something both Dave and I should be doing, but we're not. And he said happy to be relaxing, watching some awesome drawings. Hey Meredith. Hey. We did go for a walk today.
We did. I got that. Yeah. And
I used to be so good about working out.
It was rough too. Even the walk, I really felt, just because I'm not getting the kind of workout I should be.
Oh no, we got another super chat, which I totally missed, from Rike. All my Rose cover artists are in the house tonight.
Enrique
did a cover for Rose as well. Thank you so much, Rike, for the super chat.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you for coming.
He did 2 covers for Rose.
Oh, wow.
He says,
that's
thanks
great.
to the Finch
Thank you
family
very much
for giving me the chance of working on those Rose comic book covers. You guys are the best. Loving the streams. Thank you so
very
much.
Nice. Okay.
I found Rike at Boston Comic Con.
I have a sharpener. All right, so actually, I'm not going to really need a sharpener. I'm done drawn. So I've got them sketched in. I'm not going super tight with the sketch because, it's Spiderman and Venom, and I'm pretty comfortable drawing both of them. They don't have faces. It makes them so easy. So I'm going to lighten down both of them. Venom, unfortunately, will be next week because Meredith will turn into a pumpkin long before I can get to it. This whole thing would take probably about 5 hours, I guess. So I hate to do a 2-parter, but we will get Spider-Man today. And all of his webbing, too. That should take a good hour alone.
So while you're erasing, I have votes that my name should be included in the title. And from One Mighty R. I'm sure there are more. But that's where I'm looking on my screen. And Sketching the Beast says it should be on Friday and called Friday with the Finches. And it's
such a good name that
it's so good, except that it's the weekend. Oh, Sketching the Beast, if only there was another day of the week that started with an F. That's like a great name. That's like copyrightable.
I know, it's a great
Friday
name.
With the Finches. Dang it. All right.
If there was any way that we could do Friday, I would jump on it. It looks more clear on the screen, I think, doesn't it? Now you can see where my line's all choppy, where you probably couldn't as well before. Maybe I should switch to the other camera.
Maybe you should zoom out.
I'm zoomed out.
I'm kidding.
I think. I'm zoomed out.
Dave, we have another super chat from Nico Gamboa.
That is an enormous super chat. Thank you so much, Nico. Jeez.
He says, hi Dave, greetings from the Philippines. I just recently got a gig to draw comics. How would you manage to keep the creative flow and create pages?
Well, congratulations. First of all, that's great to hear. It's the first job is always the hardest, just getting that first break. And then it's very daunting because you can't help but worry that, something's going to go wrong and they're not going to like what you do, whatever. Now, I would say that it's tough because I really went through this so much. I remember the agony that I went, and it was incredibly painful. I had no confidence in what I was doing, and the script really right out of the gate just kind of showed me a lot of places where I needed work and I had avoided things. So it was tough, and you just got through it. I just kept. Now I had no choice. It's not like I wanted to go home with my tail between my legs, so I just kept drawing, and you get through it. I think the worst thing you can do, and I'm sure it happens, is to just freeze up and just not do the work. I think you just have to sit down every day and do the best job you can do on the page every day that you do it, and then it was the best you could do. Move on to the next page. It'll get better. You'll get more comfortable. And you get feedback from the people you're working with. That can be very helpful because I'm sure they will love what you do. You know, we're always more critical of ourselves than everyone else.
Well, that's the thing I was going to say too, Dave. I mean, they hired you obviously because they felt like you had what they were looking for. So trust that you have what they're looking for and continue. Yeah,
and just, you know, don't lose the love for it that you have when you are trying to get work. It's easy to just let the stress and the, you know, it's a stressful thing working. So yeah, just keep your head up and do the best work you can and be confident that it's going to be good stuff.
All right, we have 2 more super chat questions queued here. Gaston Magallanes. Hey Gaston, good to see you this week. He says, great stream, Dave. Would it be better to save all the old sketchbooks or to digitize them to conserve space?
Well, thank you for the super chat. And I would save my sketchbooks. It's your artwork. Maybe I'm old school.
He means not just your sketchbooks. Well, maybe if he does mean his sketchbooks. We have so many other artist sketchbooks here too.
I know, and I love all of them. I mean, if you don't have space, you know, I guess there's eventually, and it can be more useful a lot of times looking at stuff on the computer. You know, it's right there. You can find it easily. I like having my books.
We're old.
Maybe you know what
we're saying is that we're old.
Yeah, I would keep them, but that's me.
All right, and another super chat from Jose Lebron. Thank you so much for the super chat, Jose. He said, I got off work, happy to catch this, and bought your dynamic superheroes in perspective, and I'm loving it.
Oh, thank you so much, Jose. And thank you for, you know, buying the video. I hope that it works for you and you get a lot out of it. I really appreciate it. And, you know, thank you for giving me a super chat to give you a shout on the video, too. It's very cool of you. I really appreciate it.
Brain Games, we have another super chat from Brain Games, and he says, don't argue with the lady, Mr. Finch. Change the dang name to The Meredith Show featuring David Finch.
Oh, it's getting worse. I feel like I've been set up here.
I'm just reading the super chat questions. And we have another one from SCS Powerlifting. Thank you for the second super chat, SCS.
Thank you so much again.
And he says, call it the Monday Night Draw, a takeoff of Monday Night Raw WWE Wrestling.
I'm doing that.
See, this is what I said. I said, Dave, bring it up on the stream. You should always listen to me.
Oh, I'm totally doing that. That's such a great idea. I love it. Thank you
Meredith
so much.
And Dave Finch. Dave and Meredith Finch. We know who's got to be first. Present Monday Night Draw.
That's
pretty good.
Yeah, thanks.
Don't make me laugh, I'm gonna cough. Alright, let's go back to the questions here. I think this is Thick Nick. He says, it's been like 20 minutes and he's using a fine liner. Why is he so fast?
Because I skipped the whole penciling part.
Oh, did you?
Pretty much. I mean, I sketched it in, but ain't nobody got time for that.
Alright. Oh my gosh, the stream's happening so fast. I really do try. I want everybody to know, I really do try to get to all the questions. Or as many questions as I can. Dr. Rock is here.
Hey, Dr. Rock, that's great. We did a video this week. Check it out on my YouTube page, which you're on now. And also...
set an alarm to get up in the middle of the night because he's in Austria. And if it's 8 o'clock here, it's like 2 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, man. Well, thank you really for coming.
That is kindness.
And all of you, please check out Dr. Rock's channel. It's Dr. Rock Art. That's ROCKE Art. And he's got the other side of our draw off, which was a blast. And Dr. Rock edited it. So it's actually an incredibly entertaining video to watch. I'm actually gonna have to try and hit him up and see if I can learn a few things about how to edit a video. I mean, he did an incredible job.
It was so good.
Such an entertaining video.
So much more entertaining than you, David.
Hey. It's true.
Sorry. I love you. I can say that though.
Yeah, oh yeah, thanks.
I made you dinner tonight. We got another vote for Monday Night Draw. Okay. Neil George, I don't know. Jorge.
That's Jorge.
Jorge, okay. I'm awful with names. I'm a Canadian. Been a fan since Ascension. Thank you for always inspiring me through bad times lately. Both you and Meredith absolutely rock. God bless you.
Oh, well, thank you so much, Jorge.
Neil.
Thank you.
So nice.
That was Neil. I was saying thank you to, well, and thank you, everybody. I'm sorry. I'm drawing.
Just draw.
Yeah.
You're pretty when you draw. Michael Johnson Curry, thank you so much for the super chat, Michael. He says, I do a lot of sample pages and full free comics, but peeps just don't look or just ignore it. What's the best way to get not ignored online since cons are done right now? Emails, gotten to cons, get no response.
Gosh, yeah, I don't know. And by the way, I've been seeing your work on Discord. It's looking really great. So, you know, I actually don't know. I mean, I can say, even for me, like my emails went from, you know, I would get a few emails like a day to dead for 2 months. Everybody just kind of shut down for a bit, and then, you know, it's picked back up now. But yeah, I mean, everybody basically just took some time off. So it's been very interesting times, and I think it makes it a challenge trying to you know, get people to look at your work and get exposure. It's this will pass, I hope. I'm sure. It'll pass, right, Meredith?
It's gonna pass.
So I wish you luck, and
just keep persisting.
And yeah, and that's the thing too. It's, you know, I know when I was trying to break in, I went to Detroit with samples. There was a convention in Detroit that's right across the river from me, and I got some great feedback. I also got people that were so over the top rude about how bad my artwork was. It was tough. It was my first real exposure because I thought I was better than I was, but still, you know, it's tough. And but I didn't get anywhere near anybody wanting to offer me work, like not even close. And then from there, I think I went to a convention in Chicago. Maybe not. I can't remember what the next one was.
You went to one didn't you get hired in New York?
New York. I went to a few before that, though. And I also turned in my work to all the companies, and that really went nowhere. So
if I recall talking to your mom, she was like, this was the very last convention we
were
willing to go to.
Yep.
His mom, God love her, drove him all over the Eastern Seaboard trying to get work.
Yeah.
She was so supportive of your work. I think she was really glad to get you out of the basement.
That is why. I mean, look, you know, she's great. I owe her everything. But yeah, she wanted me out of the house too.
Yeah.
But yeah, it took a long time, and it was 2 years. Now, that was fairly quick. I got so lucky. And I wish that these kinds of opportunities were out there more right now. But I started as an intern, and so I learned on the job, and they weren't really looking for me to be able to do, you know, a full book yet. And I got to ease into the business. It was a very supportive environment, and that's such a tough thing to get. But yeah, it was a tough journey to get there. And I remember I've had so many periods in my career too where I've just, you know, you really doubt yourself, and you wonder, like, am I doing the right thing? Am I doing the kind of work I should be doing? Is it, you know, are things working out? I have so much whiteout to do on this thing. This is the downside of not penciling. So I'm just drawing all my webbing, and I'm gonna have to fix it all. And then I also wanted to have his web line going up here, and I forgot to put it in, so now I'm gonna have to erase out of it.
All right. So we have another super chat, David, from Danielle Castelli. Hey, Danielle.
Thank you, Danielle.
See you this
Thank
week.
you.
And he had an idea for the name for our show that would really fit our personalities. He recommends calling it "Thank You" with Dave and Meredith. Again, really, thank you so much. Again, thank you.
Well, thank you. That's appreciate the name.
I know we have a super chat from Joe Wills Art. Hey, Dave Meredith, or Meredith Dave. whichever, take your choice. Love tuning in. It's super relaxing, and I'm always smiling the whole time.
Oh, well, thank you so much, Joe, and thanks for the super chat.
That's what we should call it. Thank you, and David.
I want to have Joe on sometime. I want to have Jimmy there. Joe, I did a few podcasts where I was on Jimmy's show with him. He's great. He has like the nicest studio set up and incredible artwork. For any of you that want to take a look, please check out his YouTube channel. Unfortunately, I don't know. Hopefully, Joe, maybe you could put it in the chat. But yeah, really great work and a great guy and absolutely worth checking out.
Here's a good question from Logan Phillips. Hi, Dave. I'm working on a piece with a large glass window, and I'm having a hard time showing that it's glass and not just open space.
Well, it comes down to reflections. That's really, and it's tough because I've fought with this before because you can draw. I did a video on, 2 videos on perspective, and I covered how I draw windows in that video, and I didn't really draw any reflective glass. I just drew what was kind of behind them. That's one way. Another way is to make it look reflective, and to do that you just put okay, check this out, because there are a few ways, and I'm no expert. I had a pencil here, it's in my sharpener. All right, make sure I'm on the screen here. So I've got my window, and I'll give it a bit of a frame just so it doesn't look like it's floating. And if I draw the shapes of some buildings, and maybe I'll do this kind of thing, and you can darken out some windows, whatever. Anyway, the point being that I'm drawing the reflection of some darkened windows in the background. That can look like it's reflecting those buildings that are on it. And that's super awfully drawn, but that works. It totally works. And then another way, and this would be more like the old image style way, would be to do like this kind of a thing, just like a reflective pattern over it. I never do this because it just, to me, it looks dated. I don't do it. I would be much more likely to go like this, but it's really not actually necessary. I think people kind of fill in the glass mentally. I don't want to say you're overthinking it, because I mean, this is the job to overthink this stuff. That's what makes you get better. But I do think that it will work, and I don't know that you really need to draw reflections and that kind of thing in glass in order for it to come across as glass.
All right. We have another super chat from Michael Johnson Curry. Thank you so much, Michael.
Oh, thank you again.
And he said, yeah, I once gave you one of my comics. Haha, it was years ago, and you might not remember. But it was during the sketch duel with you and Jay Scott. I wonder what convention that was at.
I don't remember doing a sketch duel with Jay Scott Campbell. I don't remember. You know what? I've done so many.
You did say it was years ago, so.
Yeah. Well, thank you. And yeah, I don't remember.
All right. So Matt Lakin.
I must have lost. I forget the ones I lose.
You do forget the ones you lost. I'm surprised you did it, quite frankly. Matt Lakin.
Hey, whoa. You know what? If this was 3 weeks ago, I'd have said, that's it, bro! But now I can't, because now your name's on the show.
I'm a permanent fixture.
What was
the most fun you've ever had on a Marvel comic? I love your books! It would be great to know.
Thank you. And I'm sorry, what was the question?
The most fun you've ever had on a Marvel comic. Was that when you drew the Blob eating the wasp?
Okay, that was fun. But it was like regretful fun, because I knew it was awful. It was such a terrible picture to draw.
I didn't want to scan that page.
Yeah, and I couldn't show the kids,
You could never look at Jeff again the same way.
And also, I would be lying if I said I wasn't worried about, somebody coming along and saying, hey, what were you doing? What's the matter with you? It was over the line. To be honest, I think it was over the line. I like drawing darker stuff. So
what was the most fun you've had then? That was the worst thing you ever drew at Marvel.
The most fun? I think...
all the 5-page spreads.
Okay, yeah, that's actually exactly right. I did X-Men 2 Undercover. It had all the X-Men that had ever been X-Men in it. It was 4 pages of a spread, and it was a blast. I had so much fun with it. And I need a ruler. Hold on. I'll be right back. I tried to organize for this, and that means I put everything away. And that's not normally how I work. So, all right. I forgot what I was talking about.
The cover spreads.
Oh, right, yeah. And then I did another one. It was actually a 5-page, and it had like story moments. It had Dark Phoenix in it, and all the X-Men. Anyway, yeah, those were so much fun. And on top of those too, I was doing X-Men covers at the time. I had finished Moon Knight, and I hadn't started. I was actually waiting for script for Ultimatum. And so they just gave me a bunch of covers, and yeah, that was so much fun. And it was relaxing because, let me tell you, covers easier than drawing interiors. I mean, they can be. Deadlines are easier.
Here we have another super chat question from Nick Lobato, and
thank you again, Nick.
Thank you so much, Nick. His question is for me. Hi, Meredith. How do you plot multiple storylines? I think that's different people write different ways, but I think that when you're doing multiple storylines, the key is to make sure that your second storyline in some way reflects the arc that your main storyline is going through.
Like thematically.
Yes.
Yeah. That's
Otherwise, what's the point of having the second storyline? Like, it becomes pointless. So whenever I approach a book, my idea is always what is the arc or the journey that my main character is going to take, and that remains true if I have a second storyline that I'm weaving through. How is their arc reflecting the main character story, or reflecting the overall theme and message that I want the book to reflect? And you really have to be patient with yourself, and it's much like drawing, and that you have to have all the details, or at least you have to have your underdrawing established so that you know what you're doing with your book. I would say that writing is much like drawing that way. You have to know what your beginning, your middle, and your end is for your main story, and then plot that out for your second arc as well.
Yeah, and it can change as you go along. Artwork, covers, different, things change as you...
allow your characters and your story to inform the work you're doing.
Right, and sometimes it just doesn't work, Sometimes you turn it into an editor and they say, wow, you totally missed whatever, you know what I mean? Like, that can happen, and you end up having to rework, but yeah, you need to go in with a plan.
Yeah. And, let's see... There's also another question from Ferris Jabbar. Hey, Dave and Meredith. Does Image turn down traditional superhero concepts? And does Image require a unique hook? How feasible is it for Image to continue publishing your book as an ongoing title? I will tell you that once Image has picked up your book, as long as you're willing to put the money in to producing your book, they'll keep publishing it. Unless it really fell off the face of it.
If the sales really, but then honestly, if the sales really aren't there,
you're probably not publishing it anymore anyway.
Because they cost money, so, but yes, I would say, I don't know, but I do think it's a little tougher to sell superheroes at Image, because I think, companies outside of Marvel and DC, they do kind of try to differentiate themselves, so I wouldn't say that it's impossible at all. But
if it's a good superhero I think Image is just looking for good stories.
Yeah, of course, yes.
Because what was Kirkman's book? His superhero book.
Invincible.
Thank you. Yeah. So it's not like they don't publish superhero stuff.
But
it's just the majority of people that pitch to them, I think, don't pitch.
Now, I'm going to throw out there that I think the majority of the people that pitch don't pitch superhero stuff, partly because people put out Image books, ideally, they want to put out a good book, and they want it to, work as a comic, but you also want it to be maybe a movie or a show or whatever. And the barrier for entry to sell superheroes that aren't Marvel and DC is like, Garth Ennis level.
I'm so I'm just just keeping up with the stream right now. Let me scroll back to the very beginning and see what I can find some old questions.
I talked to my sister today.
Yes.
And she said she's watching. And I did see that she commented like a few weeks ago. Mm-hmm. So if you see her, you gotta let me know so I can say. Well, you know what?
I haven't seen her yet.
Even if you don't see it, Leslie, if you're watching, thanks for watching. I love you.
Any idea, Locrum wants to know when original art's posted on the website. We don't post original art on the website anymore. All original art is done through Essential Sequential. So check them out if you want original artwork and comic book pages. A lot of these are commissions. I don't know. This is a commission that you're doing tonight.
It is, yes. And they're pre-sold.
Yes. So that helps with, I know probably not the answer that we were looking for.
Well, the stuff is at comics or
Essential Sequential.
So I do have
comic
art
sketch. Yeah, there's comic sketches got some stuff too.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so there you go.
Keith Dodson says that Joe Kubert used to say, "Keep your sketchbook to mark your progress." Speaking of which, Dave's going to give Meredith a sketchbook. If any of you saw my amazing leg drawings.
Yeah, so now she's trying to take over my job.
I was not suggesting I take over your job.
Taking over my live stream.
People on
taking
the
over my job.
might have suggested it. I don't have how many years? 25 years to put into becoming an amazing comic book artist, Dave. But that could be fun. Dave teaches Meredith how to draw. Somebody's gonna need alcohol.
I hate it already. It's the worst idea.
Oh, I love it.
Because what if you can do it? You know what I mean? Like, that's the worst possible outcome.
Here we go. John Guerin. I can't see the drawing because of all the chat scrolling across the screen. Is there a way to remove them? John, go to full screen. I think that helps.
Well, we do have chat actually on the screen itself. Well, and
what you can see of the drawing is all that Dave's camera is posting of the drawing.
Yeah, well, if you look at my screen here, it's a window. Yeah, so.
I can't even see the drawing because I'm looking at the chat.
Oh, so yeah, apologies for that, but we kind of have to. It's nicer to have the chat on there too, and I can see the chat this way, and then it's. You know what I mean, and all this stuff is really, it's a work in progress. So we're, ironing out the bugs and figuring out what works and what doesn't work. And this is like the bumpiest, cruddiest line picture. This is how it goes. Whenever if I ink with ink, then it's much cleaner. If I draw with ink, it's always much rougher and sketchy, and then I can clean it. Not just with whiteout, but just with other detail. So it works fine in the end, but yeah, it's not the most impressive to look at.
So Dave, Edwin wants to know what you think about manga artists.
Well, I mean, they're outrageously talented artists, and that do manga. Obviously, I'm a huge fan of a bunch of them. My tastes tend to be more toward North American comic art. That's what really made me want to draw, and it's where my heart is for sure. But also bear in mind, I'm an image artist, and image as a whole, Jim Lee, all those guys were heavily influenced by manga early on. So I have direct influences from manga, and also indirect, just from all the image surroundings.
I just want to know that you didn't know that this question/comment is not a plant. But Allison says, "Hi Dave, I'm a big fan of your work. I'm trying to learn how to draw. Would you give me a tip on how to draw faces well?" And Dave and I are laughing because guess what Tuesday's tutorial is going to be? The Tuesday tutorial.
2 days away.
So
it's
Allison,
faces.
Tune in on Tuesday.
And I'm going to do...
To Tuesday. That's much better alliteration.
You're killing me.
To Tuesday. I have not been drinking tonight, but you'd think I had been.
I would think, yeah. It's going to be female faces this time too, because I keep drawing men for everything, and I thought, it'd be good to
represent.
Change it up a little bit, and so it's going to be female faces this time. And I think I might actually start it by drawing a male and a female face so I can show the differences.
Oh, that's a great idea. Yeah, first show like the basic face. Like, I can't draw a face, but I've watched you start a face enough that I can 100% draw a tube form, and I know exactly where like the cross lines go.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Makes sense.
From watching you. Osmosis.
All right. So here we go. I'm going to start giving him his brushwork, his shadowing.
While you're doing that, Steel B says that I love your artwork.
Oh, thank you so much, Steel B.
With 5 purple hearts and 3 hearty face emojis.
Wow. That's real love. Thank you so much.
And congratulations to Nighthawk Warrior, who is currently drawing his first comic book.
Oh, that's great. Well, congratulations. That's excellent.
All right, question from Christopher Palacios. I hope I pronounced that right, but I probably didn't. I'm going to be known as the woman who butchers everybody's name. How long did it take for you to be able to skip pencils and just dive right into inks?
You know, I haven't actually really been inking for... I really never inked anything all the way up until around 2005. I did my first cover for Marvel that I inked myself. And I did full pencils, and I did that for a long time. And just lately, I've been inking a lot of stuff. And I will tell you right now, for a cover or, you know, something like that, I'll do more full pencils than this, generally, you know. But... I've been drawing this way at conventions a lot, and I find it's quicker. And I keep saying this, I say this all the time, but these are the best whiteout pens. They cover and they're like paint, so I can go right over them. It might as well be paper, so it makes it very risk-free if I really don't like something. Worst possible case, and I've had this happen, well, I think about 3 times now. I've made such a mess that I've actually had to cut out another piece of paper, paste it over, and just redraw. That's happened, and that's disaster time, because that takes forever. And then the original art looks bad, you know, it's got a big paste on it, but it happens. I would say, yeah, it's kind of more of a recent thing. I would not worry about trying to draw that way, though. I mean, you could imagine this being just it's the same technique as a pencil. I'm just blocking in shadow. I would be doing the same thing with a pencil. And if you're not comfortable jumping right in with ink, I mean, don't do anything that's going to make it more difficult for you to do your work. It all comes down to making the work as high quality and, you know, good as possible. So yeah, I would not worry about things like, you know, worry about how to get better at your faces or your anatomy or different things like that. But process things like, you know, when to drop a pencil and just ink. Just, you know, let your comfort zone be your guide.
So we have a question from Dr. Rock.
All right.
I have a question that could be interesting for all of us. David, do you still use tricks like taking a look at your drawing from afar or in the mirror to check it for mistakes?
Yeah, I do actually. You know, I'm finding while I'm doing these live streams, I can look up at the screen and it's like a different view on it, and it's almost like I'm sure looking at it backwards would be more effective. I've got a mirror for that. Generally speaking, what I do, because I can never find my mirror, I see it over there right now, but
I can tell you where it is because I cleaned your office.
Yeah, you clean. Yeah, but yeah, most of the time I can't find it. So I just take my page and I put it up to the light and look at it through the page. That's actually the Mark Silvestri technique. That's how he had a mirror on his desk and he would use it. He'd put his hand up to it, or, you know, get some facial expressions here and there. He never really used it for his art. For, you know, to look at his art backwards. He just put his stuff right up to the light, and it works just as well.
I've seen you use all of those techniques.
Yep.
Tibbet is on the stream. He said, just popping in to say hi from the Netherlands. Add that to your country bingo. I'm going to do a country bingo one day. Because we got people from everywhere. And thanks, these streams got me out of a serious dark space by falling back in love with drawing.
Oh, that is nice. Great to hear. I am so glad.
And thank you to everybody who stays up late or gets up early.
Yes.
To be a part of these streams. We really, really appreciate it. Like, I know people in Europe are up 6 hours early. And if you're over in Asia, you know, this is 8 o'clock in the morning for you on Monday.
How do you know that?
Pardon?
How do you know that?
Because I know that they're 12 hours.
That's impressive.
You didn't just marry me for my pretty face.
I want to say, you know, art it is an incredibly therapeutic thing. You can put all of your energy into creating something, and creation is it's a very positive thing. And you know, I am so glad that you found it again, and it's been good for you. Whoop.
I'm just scrolling through.
I'm making such a mess. One of these weeks, I'm bound to have a sketch that just totally falls apart completely, and I keep waiting for it to happen. You know, I'm trying not to get in my head and go, "Oh no, it's going to happen this week," but I'm waiting for it. It's going to happen.
Dave?
Yes.
Who's ADC?
Who's a what?
ADC.
I don't know.
I don't know. Okay. And the chat's behind. Yes, Nighthawk Ward. The chat is behind. ADC Art Attack. Hello. That is refreshing.
I sincerely hope that doesn't mean that we're
awful people. That's what it means if we don't know who you are. Sorry.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
Would Dave be interested in doing a stream from Pizza Monster Art? A stream or video where he critiques art for the viewers?
Yes.
I think that's actually, so one of the things that we were talking about today was, bringing on guests.
Robert Marzullo's coming. He's doing it with me. I shouldn't be saying that because actually he emailed.
Ask Robert, yeah.
And he emailed this week, and I have not checked my email. Sometimes I'm bad that way.
He's not doing it now.
I know. Robert, I'm sorry. And yes, we had talked about it. He said he would do it. I'm going to hold him to it. And
we'll reach out to some of our friends and see if they want to come on the chat and stuff. Maybe people say no because we're not good at doing stuff like that. Maybe we don't have any friends in comics. That's possible.
Oh, come on. We do, I think.
So, yeah, but anyway, we'll see if we can get some people to join us. Dave's going to try to figure out how to do that. And then I think it would also be helpful to do, maybe we could devote a Sunday live stream to looking at portfolios.
Sunday live stream is drawing.
Oh, sorry.
Monday live stream is drawing.
Live stream. I don't know. We only have so much time in the week. It's tough. Oh, I got a super chat question I missed.
What I'm going to do for the art critique stream is I might just do it with Robert, so that way, look, I would love to have you do it.
What do I know about art? You saw my life.
Well, you're great with it, really, and it's great to have you.
Oh, I missed I missed two super chats.
But you know what I mean.
Far behind.
Between the two of us, I think we could keep up with it. We'll see.
Yeah, as long as you have help.
And also, I think it would be maybe a smaller, just because I don't know. I don't know.
Find out. All right, let me go to this first super chat I missed, which is King Everett. How could I miss your super chat, King Everett? You're with us every week.
Yes, thank you so much for coming again, and thank you for the super chat again.
He wants to know if a film script format is good to adapt to a comic. And I actually think it is in some ways. If you can convert, there's more beats.
Yes.
It's written in a very similar way. So if you can break a film script.
Well, the dialogue can get a lot. Oh, I'm making such a mess. The dialogue can get. There can be scenes where it's just way too much, and you have to cut that down. You can't have 10 pages in a row. You can, but I wouldn't recommend having 10 pages in a row of people just talking. So there's that. And normally this dries pretty quickly, but it's coming out. It's gonna be.
I don't have the air conditioning high enough.
Maybe, yeah. It's actually not that cold here. Yeah, and also there are pans and zooms and things that you can't do in a comic conveniently as easily, and if you can do them, I don't know that they're like, I've seen artists use film techniques where you'll have a panel and then you'll zoom in on that panel and then again, and it can be really effective. Truthfully, not really my favorite though, because it gets a little static. Like, I feel like it's a film thing. It works well in film, and my preference is with comics to do things that comics can do that no other medium can do. Like, there is no other medium out there where you can have a tiny little panel and then turn the page and have a massive double page spread. You get that visual impact, and other mediums just can't do that. I prefer to take advantage of those kinds of things, ideally. But, movie scripts certainly would work. I wouldn't do it personally, truthfully, just because I think unless you really know what you're doing, you're better off to not. It would be like drawing a comic with a writer that doesn't know what they're doing. That's what it would feel like, because you'd be fixing things a lot.
All right, we have another super chat from Draw Ninja KC.
Thank you so much, Draw Ninja.
He says, "Hi Dave, are you doing any more collabs? Or are you open to doing more collabs with awesome artists?"
You know, I have to say, Dr. Rock was a very special case. I saw his channel and the way he's doing his videos and just the energy that he has, and I was just pumped about it. I don't even know, like, I never planned on doing that kind of video, you know, at all. But I just thought it would be a blast, and I thought people would really enjoy it. That said, I certainly wouldn't be against doing it again. Yeah, it was sure nice having an expert edit the video too. That really helped. Let me finish this.
I just want to let you know, this is very exciting. We have over 650 people on the stream.
Well, that's great. Thank you, all of you.
Thank you, everybody who's watching. That is a new. I feel like that's 661. I feel like that's a new high right now. So
that
thank
is
you, everybody who's here. And I apologize. I'm so far behind the chat. I think I get in the chat and then my computer lags, like it doesn't refresh the chat.
You need a new computer. It's a Mac, that's why.
I have to refresh my chat.
Nobody uses a Mac.
People use Macs.
Everybody
uses
not.
Mac. You know why everybody uses Mac? Because then nobody gets a virus.
I don't have any viruses on this.
Do you remember we were having to replace your computer on almost every 6 months because you would be getting viruses constantly?
Yeah,
remember that time?
I do.
I remember that
I
time.
remember. Yeah.
And who's never had a virus? Knock on wood. That's right. Although I really don't do a lot of internet surfing unless I'm buying horse stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I do more internet surfing because I'm down here supposed to be working.
Right.
So, and what's more fun? Looking up listicles or doing work?
Moving right along. We all know the answer to that one. Edwin wants to know if when drawing digitally, what tablets do you recommend, especially when you're starting out?
I'm going to recommend, and this is from Robert Marzullo, because he has a much better idea than I do. And actually, I bought one. Anyway, it's an iPad Pro with the iPencil. I don't remember, but anyway, and I got one. My son is using it, and I can't pry it from him. So, but I'm going to be trying to experiment with it. I know Robert's using Procreate, which I have never tried, so I'd really like to try it. I'm much more familiar with Clip Studio Paint, which is a great program, but you know, it's always fun to try something different. What a mess. This will get cleaner.
Everybody loves your webs. I don't know, you're saying what a mess, but everybody's loving the webs.
Ah, well, I'm glad. Thank you.
Your Mark Bagley influence? Yes, no?
Yes, my Spiderman is totally 100% Mark Bagley.
Yeah.
Completely. Yeah.
All right. Daniel Castelli has another super chat question for us, Dave.
Thank you so much, Daniel.
He says, as an outlier, could you share your thoughts on becoming successful in general? Is it such a love for the work that makes it possible to never give up?
Well, I think there are two ways to do it. You know, you could do it the way that I did it, and that is be a high school dropout and have no other options, and you just, you know, you do what you got to do to survive. So there was that, and I feel like it'd be disingenuous for me to say, oh, I just had the guts to carry it through. I had no choice. I had to make it work because I didn't want to go back to school. I struggled with school very badly. So there was that. And then I think the other part of it, it just comes down to having the mental fortitude to not fold when things don't go your way, which sounds trite, kind of, you know, I feel like saying, but I mean, it happens to me still all the time. I almost, okay, so I got an email asking me to draw a cover. And I said, yeah, sure, because it was a cool cover and I was thrilled to do it. And then a day later, I got an email saying, oh, you know what? Sorry, the artist we originally asked, he didn't get back to us, but now he did. And we don't need you to do the cover. And I was like, oh, wow.
Yeah, it still happens.
Oh, so
that
tough.
Was that was pretty awful.
I was pretty, yeah.
It was a harsh day in Finchland.
It was tough. I had trouble with that. And yeah, being able to get over that kind of stuff and not let it beat you, you know, whatever it is. I mean, there's things like that. There's always going to be, wherever you are, there's going to be slaps to the ego and failures and, you put out a book that you really believe in and it just doesn't connect, and it's hard, it's tough. So
don't read reviews. Or
yeah.
read them,
Or, well, and I think maybe
with an understanding of what they are,
and know who you are too. Some people can read that stuff, it doesn't bother them, no problem. Like it doesn't affect them. And some people, you end up hating the world, and so you don't want to be that way.
All right. I might have started Apple PC chat happening on the chat. Some debate. Some people seem to think that Macs are only good for graphic design. Clearly, they like to live with viruses. All right.
You can't play video games on a Mac. Not really.
Also, James Jones, thank you, James, says that he enjoys drawing while you draw and that he votes for the Meredith Show featuring Dave.
Well, you know what? I'll take half of that. Thank you. I'm glad that you're drawing. I would love it if you would post it in the Discord. I'd love to see what any of you that are drawing along with this are doing. And if you have questions about how to join the Discord, I think I've got a link in the description, and also Eric Grove is in the chat and he can fill you in. Eric is the moderator for our chat and also the administrator for Discord. Yes. And a good
Thank
dude.
You, Eric, all the time.
Yeah.
Thank you, Eric. And Christopher Palacio says I can get a new computer with the super chat money, but no, I'm buying a Mac, Christopher. There's not enough money. I hold on to it. Like my little, what's the car that just keeps going?
I don't know.
I don't know these days. My Honda. Oh, those cars just go forever.
Yeah, they do.
Doomsayer Designs. Dave, you have the absolute best Spidey webs ever.
Oh, thank you.
What are your biggest influences? He said maybe Mark Bagley or little Sal Buscema. Also, hi Meredith. Hi Doomsayer.
My spider webs are... there's some Mark Bagley. My Spider-Man is very Mark Bagley, as much as I could pull off anyway. And my spider webs are Joe Quesada, 100%.
All right, another super chat question. Thank you so much from Andrew Boyle.
Thank you, Andrew.
Andrew wants to know, oh my gosh, Andrew, it's like you were living in our house today. What is your advice for an artist growing a YouTube channel? We'll let you know when we have that figured out. Post videos 5 years from now, or 5 years ago, and don't look at your channel.
Yeah, you're not supposed to do it that way, but it definitely helped. When I started this time, I had 11,000 subscribers. That was just a trickle over years, and so it made it so that I could actually get them in front of people. I think the hardest thing is just getting that initial hump of just getting people to come check out your channel. And if you don't have like another social media or a way to drive that traffic, I think it can be really tough. And that, truthfully, I don't know, but I do know I think the worst thing that you can do is just sit there and keep looking at how many people are currently watching your video.
Don't look at your analytics.
Oh no, nobody likes this video. My life is over. It's
like even just from my blog, it's very easy when you go in with no expectations, and then if you have even a small amount of success, it's very easy to overthink. What did I do that people liked? And then you start gearing what you're doing to what you think people like versus what got you started doing your YouTube channel or your blog or whatever it is that you're posting out there for the world to consume. And I think at the end of the day, you ultimately find the most success and be the most satisfied if you just don't look at those analytics, or don't look at them in an obsessive way. Like, hey, and I've said this to Dave, every Sunday check your analytics and see what's going on.
I don't know why you'd have to say it to me, because I don't have that problem.
Oh, you would never check your stuff like 500
Hey, like, well, you know what? Too much information.
That's what people are tuning
But
for.
Look, this is this is my nature. I'm a worrier.
Obsessive.
Yeah, and I'm obsessive. So yeah, It is what it is.
Dave goes all or nothing. He was going to play Dungeons and Dragons. I think we played 3 times, but he owns every book out there.
I do.
And card packs and whatever.
And we're going to play again.
Let's move on to the super chat. We have another super chat from Nick Lobedo. Hey, thanks for the next super chat, Nick.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for directing our conversation away. What comic from Dungeons and Dragons, although I brought it up, what comic movies are you most looking forward to?
Yeah, how much did you realize that you made a mistake bringing up Dungeons and Dragons right now? Because you know I want to play it.
Instantly. I was like, abort, pull up.
What comic movie am I looking forward to the most? Yeah, you know, that's a good question. I'm a little...
Here's our problem. We watch Netflix, and I watch Netflix, and Dave plays YouTube, or video games. I don't even know what movies are coming. Oh, no, stop right there. Wonder Woman, 84.
Oh, yeah. That's right. Okay, yep.
Sorry. I forgot that was coming out because it got delayed.
Yeah, Wonder Woman.
No question.
I'm mostly... Okay, I'm looking forward to when they do Batman again. I heard...
With Robert Pattinson?
Yeah. And I heard... I don't know. There's so many rumors that maybe Ben Affleck's going to be involved again. And, you know, they'll have like an older Batman and like, you know, multi-generation. I don't even know. But yeah, I don't care what they do. I just want to see something new.
And I can agree to disagree on Ben Affleck.
I thought he was great.
He wasn't awful.
He was not awful. He was great.
I don't know. He's fine.
You're wrong.
Everybody hates me now. They're like, ban Meredith from the Sunday stream. Monday draw.
See, now it's not just me.
Yeah, nobody said that yet, though.
Yeah, I know.
Or if they did say it, I'm behind in the chat, so I don't have to know. Here we go. I'm just going to go with the next question I see. Fantastic Meatball, and how can I not ask a question for Fantastic Meatball? Hello from Brazil. I've been studying anatomy from Stephen Peck's book, trying to reproduce as faithfully as possible the images, but I never know if I'm really going the right way. Any tips?
I'm not familiar with Stephen Peck. I'll have to check it out. I would say the only real way to know if you're going the right way, there's no answer for that. It never exists, really. You'll always be able to be better, always. And so, you know, you have to look at growth. I think that you want to look at, you know, where you were with your anatomy or whatever it is that you're working on a month ago, where you are now, where you were a year ago, and see what you've learned, and, you know, congratulate yourself for the things that you've gotten better at and the places where you've grown. And I mean, that's really what it comes down to. It's fast growth sometimes. And, you know, I remember, I keep saying Mark Sylvester, but you know what he taught me? So at Top Cow, this is the kind of question he got a lot, because all of us were so neurotic. Like, are we going to make it? Are we going to get fired? I mean, is this going to work out? And he said, that, sorry, I'm trailing off because I'm trying to, he said, I should stop drawing because I totally forgot what I was saying.
I was paying attention to the chat.
Wow.
Something about Mark Silvestri, Batman.
Not Batman. Oh yeah, he said. Oh my gosh!
Oh my gosh! Stop talking. So anyway,
okay. I'm gonna think about it for a second because I don't want to forget it because it was really good.
We had a super chat from Doomsayer Designs.
Oh, I remember what I want to say. I'm gonna say it because I'll forget again.
Okay, hurry up.
All right, so he said that basically growth, when you're trying to get better, comes in fits and starts. It's not a continual thing. You're not going to wake up the next morning, you're going to be better. Or, you know, you will learn something and your art will be better. And that's thrilling when it happens, especially early on when you really pick up things quickly and you get like a whole huge technique you didn't have before. And then you go a few months and you'll learn a few things here and there, you get better, you'll refine things, but there's not major changes. And then all of a sudden again, something will click and you'll have another period of massive growth. And you just have to, you know, the time, it's not going to be all the time. And when it's not happening, just, you know, be patient.
Okay, so we've got a few super chats lined up right now.
Okay.
The first one was from Doomsayer Designs.
Thank you, Doomsayer.
The message got retracted, but I can only assume it's because he agreed with me and he too was not a fan of Ben Affleck.
How hard is it?
I'm teasing.
Jeez.
No, I'm just making fun.
If you met him, you'd be like, "Wow, it's Ben Affleck." You'd be thrilled.
It's because I'm underslept. I'm getting up every night with the puppy. So, but no. So we can just. He just loves us. He just super chatted because we're the best.
Wow.
The Meredith and Dave show. Oh, I need sleep tonight.
Yeah.
And then we have a super chat from Jackson Taylor. I'm super punchy. Putin, thank you so much, first of all, for your super chat, Jackson.
Yes, thank you very much.
He says Putin is objectively far superior to tomato ketchup chips versus virtually all the world agrees. And have you dug any more into Franklin Booth?
So, okay, I just want to say that as a Canadian, you should really know that was...
Poutine, not Putin.
Yeah.
Poutine. You forgot the E. That's why I was confused. Poutine, superior to tomato ketchup chips, agreed. Because everybody wants gravy and cheese melted on their french fries. Perfect.
It's good stuff.
Although ketchup chips, my kids love them.
Yeah, I've never really liked ketchup chips, truthfully.
And they're kind of like a salt and vinegar, but not.
Yeah, this is where things really slow down in this picture a little bit. So apologies for that, but...
We'll just keep talking.
You know, I tried to...
Zoom in. Are you doing detail?
Yeah, I guess I should. I don't know. I mean...
Zoom in.
I'm afraid to zoom in because wait till you guys see how crappy this looks close up.
And we will own a Franklin Booth one day.
One day.
I might have to sell both of
They don't come up for sale.
I might have to sell both of your kidneys, but we'll own one.
It'd be worth it. They don't come up for sale. I was talking to somebody about it that, you know, collects that kind of work and he just can't find it.
And then we have another super chat from...
I need a different pen. This one's kind of blunt.
EA. Thank you so much for the super chat, EA. He wants to know how you stay motivated while coloring or inking. He has 1 million sketches, but only 10 finished drawings.
Oh, finish them.
3 sad faces.
Just finish them. Don't give yourself permission to quit.
Yeah, there you go.
And, you know, you cannot move on to another picture until you finish the last one. That's the way. They all get hard and you run into problems and it can be easier to just say, I'm moving on. I never, ever move on unless if an editor calls and says, we need this right now, it needs to happen and I need to drop it, sure. But otherwise, yeah, I'm always off the page.
And I have to say, I think it's a common problem across multiple disciplines. You know what I mean? I used to be, it's very exciting to start something like quilting. I love starting a quilt, but then I would have to really push myself to finish it, or knitting mittens or anything like that. Like anything that's creative, the excitement is in the possibility of what it could be.
You know what's funny? I've heard so many artists say that, and I can never relate because when I start something, I get so obsessed with it, I can't stop.
No, I totally get it because in your mind, you have endless possibilities when you're starting something of what it could be.
In my mind, I have endless problems when I'm starting something. When it's getting close to the end.
I'm saying?
No.
But then, when you're halfway through and you're looking at where you're at, because I've had this happen multiple times with multiple things, you're like, this isn't really as good as I wanted it to or expected it to be, and you get disappointed.
I could see how that would be in your case, yeah.
Like cutting your hair? Oh, wait.
Oh, wow. Below the belt.
Oh, I know. I'm sorry. No, like knitting mittens and like, oh, this mitten isn't. But you have to just finish it. Just finish it because you learn something in the finishing as much as you do in the starting, and maybe more. So I totally get what EA is saying.
Yeah, yeah. I understand it because I hear it all the time. I don't think it makes you a better or worse artist or anything. I just know for me, I get really obsessed.
So this is a great question because this is, again, I think somebody's got like a little microphone in their house because we were talking about this today too. The Net Ranger, aka Nettie. David Finch, when are your Udemy classes coming out? So, Dave, I'm going to turn it over to you. What were we talking about today?
I can't say it.
Can I say it?
No.
Why not?
Okay, you know what? I've been trying to get started with Udemy stuff. I got a little bit laid out. I have not had the time. I mean, I'm doing this stuff. My tutorial videos are taking me the better part of a day to do. And I enjoy doing it. Don't get me wrong. It's not a complaint. I love it and it's so worth it and it's been great, but they take time. And I have deadlines that I'm doing a cover right now that was due like the 3rd. I just checked the email
Oops.
Yes. So it's a problem. I'm trying to find the time, and we were thinking maybe of doing a tutorial video every 2 weeks.
Yes, that's what we're going to do. So that on the alternate weeks, Dave can work on his Udemy. Because there's only so much time in the day.
And the thing is, I do want to do the Udemy.
You love doing this.
Because the tutorial stuff, I love doing it. There are times, though, I feel like I'm talking as fast as I can. I'm just trying to cram, and it's like a broad overview, and there's so many things I want to talk about, and I just can't. And it ends up being a little disjointed sometimes, but yeah.
So we will maybe someday soon go to alternating weeks for the Tuesday tutorial.
We're thinking about it.
But know that if he's not there on Tuesday, it's because he's working on his Udemy. And I just have to tell Kenny Wang that Dave is going to do a hair tutorial. So I know you've had some hair questions. He is going to do a hair tutorial.
My current plan
and
right
then I
now.
have 2 super chats.
Okay, my current plan. I've got the heads. I'm going to do female heads on Tuesday, and then next Tuesday, I want to do textures because I keep getting so many questions about that. So basically, textures with rendering, and by rendering I mean cross hatching. Everybody calls it cross. It's rendering. Anyway, that's what we used to call it. So that would be, and then yeah, I think I'd like to do something with hair. After
hair,
that,
eyes, lips. I think you should just focus on heads and then do rendering later.
No. Right? I'm not doing a whole video on.
We'll do breakdown.
We'll talk about it.
We'll chat. I'll get my way.
You know what I need? I need to figure out on Discord how to do a poll.
No, you just need to take Meredith. Do what Meredith tells you. It's the Meredith show after all. Oh my gosh.
It's all falling apart.
It is all falling apart.
This is how things...
And Sketchy, thank you so much for your super chat. So we can steer that I can pull up and not crash. Just want to thank you both. First of all, thank you, Iris.
Yes,
Sketchy,
thank you very much.
Chat.
Thank you so much.
And he just want to thank both of us for all the work we do. Dave is a big influence on me and my art. I never pursued comics, but I did manage to get into game design. Congratulations.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. Well, congratulations.
Thanks again. I wonder if there's any games that we know that you've played.
It's highly likely.
Probably you've played a lot of video games.
Yes.
And then we also have a super chat from Brandon Spence. Thank you so much, Brandon. Brandon,
I know that name. I'm pretty sure.
I think he's been here in past weeks.
Okay.
That might be why you start to recognize him.
Yes.
Dave, you gotta look at La Morte Vivante by Olivier Vatine and Alberto Vergara. Very booth-esque, and the art is incredible.
Okay, La Morte?
Vivante.
How do you spell it?
Vivante.
Vivante. Okay, yes, thank you so much.
Vatine. We just look at Olivier Vatine.
Yeah, well, and I'm a huge fan, a massive fan of Vatine, so I know I'll love it. So yeah, thank you. I was not aware of that one, so that's great. I've got a few of his books. I've got a book called New Arc. Now that I say it, which sounds like a takeoff of it's post-apocalyptic, and it probably is like post-apocalyptic New Arc, right? I never thought of that before I said it. Anyway, it's all in French. I can't read it, but it's beautiful.
Oh, Orion Trunk. Such a huge fan. I'm doing a 365 days of Dave Finch on Instagram, where I'm posting a book of yours every day. I love sketching your work as practice too. So fun.
Wow, thank you so much for the support. That
so
is
sweet.
Yeah.
Have to follow. Post your Instagram and see if we can, or tag us on Instagram so we can follow it, so we can like it.
Yeah, I actually posted to Instagram yesterday. I'm trying. It's so hard though because I never use my phone. So.
Oh, somebody asked a great question. Liam MG. I gotta go back maybe and see if it was good. Dave. Oh, here we go. Liam MG. Dave, do you think Scott Robertson's vehicle drawing method is effective? I'm going to rephrase it a little bit for drawing comics. Do you know who Scott Robertson is?
Yes, and I know the video, and I watched it, and I thought it was incredible. I loved it. Do I think it's effective for comics? I think that I would definitely recommend watching it and learning everything you can from it. I would say drawing comics, that would be an extraordinarily long process to draw a comic in a car. but it would totally work, you know, and I think you'll learn a lot from it. It's just a great video. He's a great teacher. So I think, yeah, it's totally worth it. I wouldn't, for a comic, draw a car that way just because it would be, I don't have time. There are shortcuts that I take with my perspective, with all that stuff that, you know, for instance, I'll show you what I mean, because, so I've got a signpost, and then here's my perspective point. And if I draw another one here, there's a way that I can figure this out mathematically. I'm sure you guys all, and I would have to look. I haven't done it so long, I forget. I don't do that. I would just kind of guess and then make the other one closer and closer. I just guess because I don't have time. I can't be mathematically working out perspective like that. It's not possible. Not on a deadline. And I feel like that kind of stuff is more specialized.
We have another super chat question from 81 Modus, and he says, since you're in competition with Tony, Daniel, and Kirkham, has it led to a lot of fights or bloodshed? LOL. We need another Finch Unwrapped edition.
They keep us.
Tony, you throw down on a regular basis.
They keep us separated at shows. They know.
Oh dear.
Yeah, you know, actually, I am sure that we're all competitive. I know I am. I mean, but it's healthy and it's great, and you know, it keeps you going. And like some of the artists that I'm closest with, like Tony, I think we're close because we're coming so much from the same kind of place, you know, similar influences, and we've worked on so many projects that are similar. So yeah, we have a lot to talk about. Here we go.
Kenny Wang wants to know your top 5 video games.
Okay, so I know I said my favorite, and that's...
What is it?
It's a motorcycle one. Shoot.
It's the one with shooting zombies.
Yeah. If I was better at... Days Gone.
There you go.
Number 2? I need to draw and think.
Doom? Did you like playing Doom?
I loved it. It's too hard for me. I actually played with a friend. We played the time that we could. Basically, we were playing on Wednesdays, and we would get a couple hours where we could sit down and play the game. And he's better at it. So for the most part, I would play at hand and control over when I die, and he would finish it. But I still loved it. It's a great game. I love the music. Dead Army 4, I played so much of that game this year. I love that game. I'm gonna say all the ones that I played just lately because I'm like drawing and talking. It's hard for me to, for whatever reason, I have a hard time.
You're thinking about your drawing right now. That's the problem.
Yes. Well, I can just talk, but trying to remember things is very hard for whatever reason. It's like a different part of the brain. I'm playing Tomb Raider right now, Dark Sun or whatever. Anyway, and I love it, but it's all puzzles. And there comes a point where, you know, I'll play the game for an hour, and then I get to another puzzle. I'm like, I don't have the mental energy right now to figure out another puzzle. And then I just put it down. And I'm waiting for Ghost of Tsushima.
See, I looked that up for you so you knew how to say it.
Oh, and then I remembered.
And then you remembered. See?
Yeah.
I'm helpful for so many things. Swamp Fox wants to know what my favorite piece of literature is. Like proper literature. I went through a period, I don't know if you remember this a few years ago, Dave, where I started reading a lot of Dickens.
Yeah, I remember.
And I just, like, Great Expectations.
Yeah.
And A Tale of Two Cities. Maybe A Tale of Two Cities the most. Like, that story, the way it was told. I remember, you know, when you're in high school, they make you read that stuff. But I think as a writer, going back and reading that stuff, and just the crafting and the storytelling, I just really, really enjoyed. I love Jane Austen too. But yeah, I would say A Tale of Two Cities. That's one that I just really, really enjoy. I'll have to go back and read that again. After, of course, I read Brandon Sanderson.
Yeah.
That's next on my list. I'm sure I could get the books by next week. If I order and remember tonight. Dave, don't let me forget.
I will not let you forget.
All right, I think we have another super chat. We do have another super chat from Jordan Seward. Thank you so much, Jordan.
Yeah, as always, thank you very much, Jordan.
Jordan he's looking out for us. He's like, I'm looking forward to the Dave Finch art books with the live stream artwork. We'll have to do that.
Oh, yes, we will.
I don't think if we're doing this every week, it won't take long.
If I have any hesitancy at all, it's that I just don't have. If it was up to me, left to me, it would never ever happen.
That's okay. We'll just send it to Jason. Jason will do it for us.
He would.
Yeah.
Jason is
Jason from Essential Sequence.
yeah, and he's great. He's a good dude.
He does all Dave's artwork.
And yes, he's totally on the ball. And if it was just me,
he will hook us up when we're ready to do. We'll have to call it the Sunday/Monday draw sketchbook.
Yeah, let me zoom out for a second because you can't really see the picture.
Dave, what pen are you using right now?
Okay, so this one here is a Tombo, and this is the upside down. It's a Fudenosuke. If I try and make it closer to the camera, here, let me zoom in. Fudenosuke Tombo Brush Pen. There are two of them. There's a soft and a hard. The hard have a silver bit right here, and the pen is blue. The other ones are black. I like the hard because I don't have the control for the softer ones. I just can't. It ends up being too messy. You get more of a thick to thin with the softer ones, and they're more effective that way. But I make a mess. I've tried. So anyway, this is my Spider-Man so far. I just want to zoom out quickly so at least you can kind of see where he's at. And then I'm going to go ahead and, you know what, I'll stay zoomed out, and I'm going to put in his webbing on his costume. And then I'll zoom in to render him up. And it's 9:21. We're making good time.
Yeah, you're doing great.
I'm going to end up just drawing Venom too.
No, you won't. We don't have that much time.
Okay.
But you maybe can like rough sketch him in or something. Somebody asked earlier on in this chat if you could show them your lab board.
Yeah.
This is like way back at the beginning. I'm sorry, I don't know who asked, but
Lap board. It's just wall paneling. Can you see that? Yeah, it's just cheaper wall panel, and I like it because it's super light. So you know, having a heavier board, it's not the greatest surface, but it's flat enough, and it's bigger. I keep working on a larger size, and so it's nice to have something just a little bigger. That's it. Yeah, it's nothing fancy.
Well, you tripped over a book. Is that your book of the week? Because Daniel Castelli had a super chat,
right.
And he says, "Thank you for the super chat, Daniel." He said, "I saw some of your paintings on Instagram. They're fantastic."
Thank you very much.
Agreed. Have you ever seen Christian Hook's work?
Christian
Hook.
No.
Oh, I'll have to check him out.
Yeah.
And also, do we get a book of the week today?
Yeah, you know, I even have it set out. I totally forgot about it. Let's do that. All right. It's my book of the week. This is Frank Frazetta's The Comment. Johnny Comment, The Comment.
Is this what you showed last week?
No.
This is different.
It's different. So Frank Frazetta started out actually as a comic artist, and he went into a period, I think it was like 8 years. It was a long time. He worked for Al Cap on Little Abner, and around that time he also did Johnny Comet, and it was a weekly or daily, I'm actually not sure, but anyway, it's incredible stuff. I don't know where you'd ever find this book. I found this years ago at a convention at Bud Plant, their booth. Let me just, and some of the early stuff you can see it's showing up on the screen properly. It's a little I mean, it's incredible, but some of the line work and rendering is a little bit a little rougher. I feel like it's so unfair to say that because it's still so great. It's better than I could do. But, and as it goes along, it just gets incredibly polished. Like, I mean, look at this guy right here. And anyway, I've taken so much stuff from this book, and there are 99, 222, a huge amount of pages. And actually, as a bonus, look at this. Some of the stuff at the end, look at how subtle some of this is. And there are strips, and I'll never find it. I should have bookmarked it. But Wally Wood actually ghost drew some of this stuff. So, and you can kind of see the subtle differences in the figures. And yeah, he would hit deadlines, and all of his buddies, these guys all lived, you know, in the New York kind of area. And so they would work together. Look at that arm. Look at how great that is. And just the gestures in the hands. It's, you know, I could go on and on and on. And it's older work, so it's, you know, stylistically you could say that it's dated. And actually, apparently, as a result, I mean, he's peerless, and this stuff is outrageously good. But apparently, things had actually moved on by the time he decided he wanted to get back in comics. I think he'd worked on Little Abner for a while, and editors didn't want to hire him because this isn't the kind of work they wanted to do. And so he talked to his buddy Roy Krenkel, and Roy actually he was doing covers. I think it was Tarzan covers. So anyway, and he managed to get Frank some work doing some of that stuff, and then he just started painting, just jumped into it. So this is just before that period, before his most famous work, and it's just incredible work. And yeah, I've taken so many things from this over the years. So yeah, that is my book of the week.
Thank you for the reminder.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for the reminder, Daniel. We have another super chat, just a thank you from Sheldon Martin.
Oh, well, thank you, Sheldon. Thank you very much.
For the super chat. And we have another one from SCS Powerlifting, and he would like to know if you're ever going to do any paintings on the stream. Thank you so much for the super chat, SCS.
Yes, thank you again so much.
You are never going to paint on this stream, though, ever. Maybe
I'll do it. You know what? If we're doing this for like months and months, and
our 1 year anniversary,
and it's like, here's my problem. I'm a terrible painter, and because I'm using acrylics, you can actually mask a whole lot of how bad I am at it, because you just keep going and going until you have something that's not horrible, you know. But in like technique wise, I don't know what I'm doing at all, and so I make a mess, and I would just be afraid that I'd start working, it would turn into a mess, and then you'd watch the numbers go, like people just go, I'm out, I'm not watching this.
Oh my gosh,
what am I doing with my life watching this guy?
Why? I thought he was so good.
Yeah,
it all works out in the end.
I love painting. I miss it when I don't do it. I haven't done it for ages. I've been so busy.
I feel like you would want to paint on your own and get your confidence back before you would want to paint on the stream, because you would be so concerned. Like, you get stressed out painting at the best of times.
Yeah.
When it's not working.
I think it would.
I think having everybody, knowing people were watching you struggle would be difficult.
Oh, here's another place where now I'm gonna have to use whiteout when I'm not penciling. These are the kinds of things that I really pay for. My lines don't quite line up on the webbing, and then I end up with I do this for covers and everything though too, so this is no different. I don't have the patience to do the work to not run into these problems, but it's fixable, so it's all right. And you know, my painting's the same way, except that the mistakes are the whole job.
People are like, paint, but no.
You know what?
I want to be able to live with him.
One of these days. I would love to do it. It would be a blast.
Let's say maybe let's put a pin in it. Somebody remind us, if we make a year on this thing, as the 1 year anniversary is coming up, somebody can say, hey, Finch, remember on July 12th, 2020, in the middle of the pandemic, when you said you would paint for the 1 year anniversary of your channel? And then that we will make sure we don't hit 1 year.
Oh, we will. Come on. I would be so incredibly sad to stop. Like, you know, we've only been doing this for, like, I think this is week number 5, and I would miss it so much already.
Oh, by the way, Mike Stewart says that Frazetta book is on eBay for around $10.
Look at that, $10.
And Eric said a reminder.
For what?
Darn it. This is what you get for having a moderator. He's going to hold us to that. So, yeah, tune in a year.
Oh, no.
To see, oh yeah, everybody's like, don't you worry, we won't forget.
Yeah, just to watch me curl up and die on a stream.
Here's a great idea. Brain Game said, how about having a guest on to walk you through the painting? Does anybody know if Bob Ross is available?
I think Bob Ross actually has passed away, unfortunately. But you know, that would be actually really incredible.
There you go.
That would be great. I wonder, I'll have to try and get Simon Bisley. Think that would work?
That could work.
He's in England.
Yeah, well, clearly we're just going to have to reschedule the stream. Although, I have a feeling he's probably up right now.
I think, yeah, he's a night owl.
Most of you comic people are.
I would need him here, though, so he could fix it when it's, you know what I mean? This is how I learned how to draw comics. I would have Mark Silvestri walk by and go, no, and he'd just fix it.
David, that's crap.
Crap.
That's more of a Scottish than an English accent.
Yeah,
so
but that's the gist anyway. Yeah. All right, so I've got let me just clean up where I completely went off course. And,
oh, are you adding webbing under the armpits? Henry...
Oh yeah, I forgot. Thank you. I am now.
He's asked multiple times, so Henry, thank you for your persistence. If you're going to do the webbing under the armpits,
I am. Thank you so much, because I totally forgot.
Henry, aka Bad Penny.
I was thinking, I should. I'm not a business person, so this is never going to happen. But if I had like a production company, Bad Penny Productions, isn't that good?
That's a great. Yeah.
Thought it was great.
We're trademarking that, just so you know, Henry. That's going to be ours. Bad Penny Productions. Everybody, 630 people heard me trademark it.
I don't think that counts.
I don't think it works that way. Oh, if only it did. If only you could just say it and it was so.
Right. Life would be so much easier.
All right. Going back through time.
All right, webbing. There we go.
Got the webbing?
Got the webbing. So now I'm going to come in on Spider-Man just a little bit here so I can get a little detail. And I think hopefully this will show up a little better than it has at other times because the camera's better. It looks better just on the screen, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. Any guys
more crisp, like it's not in and out focus.
Yeah, any guys in the guys and girls in the chat notice a difference with the peeps? Notice a difference with the camera? Does it look better? Hopefully.
So Andy Blackwell says you should record yourself while you're working on cover art or any normal work, and then release it as time lapses. People would love that so much. And that is like covers might work more easily than interiors. Because your interiors aren't going to be out anytime soon. But covers come out, like they get previewed in a month or two.
Yeah,
right?
It's true.
So then you could say, hey, here's this cover that once the cover's been previewed, you could put out the time lapse. Thinking in advance. Planning for the future.
I think that's a time lapse I would probably edit more out of, just because it's significantly longer to do a cover than a sketch. So like a lot of how messy this is, and you can see my line's a little bobbly, I have to take the time to actually fix that. I can't just leave it.
Everybody says, by the way, the camera is significantly better.
Oh, I'm glad. Thank you.
More money. Thank you for your super chats.
Yeah, it was expensive, and it's always a bit of a fight around here too, because it's a hobby. Even though, and I so appreciate you helping, Meredith. It's great that you're willing to do this, but yeah, it is a hobby for me, and not only are you graciously letting me get the stuff that I need to do it, but you're also helping me with it.
Oh well, stop. You're very supportive of me, so how could I not be very supportive of you? And by the way, I have another horse I want to buy. Just teasing. It's a pony.
I'm not saying a word.
The door 117. Can you show really fast how to draw those muscles under the armpit? Small ones that are intersecting. And yes, I am an enabler.
We're gonna do it. I'm gonna do it here. So I'm kind of running out of paper. Make sure I'm actually on the screen here. So here's my shoulder, my chest, bicep. And my back. This is right here. This would be your shoulder blade, basically. And this muscle, your lat, comes up into here. And then your bicep connects up here. You've got a muscle that connects here. And then your tricep goes here. You got a bit of a hollow just in here. And then your ribs come out here. So, you know, this kind of a situation. And then it connects to the bones up here. There you go. That's basically the structure.
Gracias. And Doomsayer Designs came back with, he forgot to type a question on his super chat, which I'm glad he caught that. So here's his question. Have you been playing D&D 5e? I need to know your favorite characters, also Boo Batfleck.
Boo Bat, well, fair enough. I like him.
See, I knew that's why he gave us the super chat. He agreed with my Ben Affleck Batman.
Yeah.
All right. We have not been playing D&D.
I haven't been. My books are. I think they're all upstairs.
They are all upstairs. I put them away because they sat out for forever.
Yeah.
And then they never got used, and I can only dust them so often.
Yeah, I know. And now that we're doing this, that's the other thing. You know, I was talking to my sister about World of Warcraft, you know, and she said that she has a guild, and she could get me into the guild because she's actually the person that gets people in the guild. There's a huge guild that she's got, and so I have my in, you know, and I want to do it, but then it's finding the time to do it, you know. And the worst part is it's a PC game, so I could totally do it down here. Meredith's upstairs, she would never know. So it's fine, but then I just really need to be on the ball because I don't hear people coming down the stairs. So people just appear at my door.
I'm just gonna just start randomly popping my head in to make sure you're working. Yeah. There's a lot of trust here. So, and we have it. Jim Angelis has a new name for our Monday chat. It's Manic Mondays with Meredith.
It's not happening.
And David Finch too. I'm manic tonight, but I'm underslept. The puppy is up every 2 hours. It's like having a small child. I think that is actually what it is. Yeah. Yeah, I watched UFC last night, which was all right. I didn't think the fights were the best, really, but I was up till 2:30 in the morning by the time I got to bed, and so I'm kind of feeling it today a little bit. All right. Daniel Castelli's going to DM. He gave me a super chat, so I would see that he's going to DM, ask me if he could DM me a Hook horse painting. Absolutely. Yeah. DM me a Hook horse painting. And R. Blake said, "You're not kidding, Daniel. Hook's painting is awesome," so I'm excited to see it now. Yeah, for sure. That's great. All right. Somebody was chatting about Greg Capullo bringing back Creech. Sorry. The Creech. It's his create your own character. Ooh, he's bringing it back in some way. Well, that's great. I'll definitely be waiting for that one. I mean, I remember when the first one came out, I was excited about it. It's such a great book. Danny Mickey inked it. Did he? Yep. Very cool. Lance DeBoyer, I feel like Dave is going to take care of your question on Tuesday, but I'm going to read it out loud because I think then I will plant that seed in David's head. David, any thoughts on how to practice shading the planes of the face? Yours are always so aggressive and they always work. Well, thank you very much, Lance. Yeah, I am going to be getting into that a bit on Tuesday. Not that much so because it's going to be a bit more structured, like structural. There is a... Okay, so I've got like a... Okay. There's like this head that you can get with all these planes. It has a name, I forget, but that's a way to do it, and you light it, and you can really learn a lot from that. My way of doing it was to look at artists that do it really well, like last week's artist, Kevin Nolan, and I've gotten so much of my lighting. Mike McNolan's great at that. He does like the best lighting on faces, so
That honestly, I'd be lying if I said I did it any other way. I truly did it by looking at artists, that did it in a way that I really liked, and I just picked up things from all kinds of different artists. Jorge Safino, if any of you are familiar, the phenomenal artist. He passed away not that long ago, unfortunately. And he did some Punisher work in the early 90s, 80s, and unbelievable lighting in his stuff. You know what? I'm gonna have to make that the book of the week next week.
It's the book of the week this week. You've already given up the goat.
Oh,
is that the right way?
Yeah, I have.
Now you guys got 2 book of the weeks.
You know what? I kind of want to just bring it out right now. I'm bringing it out. I don't even care.
All right.
Say what you want. Now I'm never gonna find. Oh wait.
That's because I cleaned your office. You'll be able to find it.
No, actually, I can't find. I know it looks like chaos, but I'm never gonna find it. You know what? Okay, so I've got this one, and it's phenomenal. The other one is better, but yeah, he just has like incredible brush stuff. So this is looser than the other book. It makes it a little tougher, but the lighting is still spot on, and you can actually get so much from that, even if you have to obviously clean things up, and you have to use your own discretion with it, but it's just really, really interesting patterns of light, and it's just very cool. I'm zoomed in, so it's kind of, anyway, I won't go too much on that one, but yeah, Jorge Savino is a big influence for lighting for faces for me. That's how I learned.
You should post your book of the week recommendations when you repost, like in the description, when you repost these as, what's the word? Sped up.
Yeah, quick time. It's not time lapse. Here's the problem though. I have my ruler, the binnacle type ruler, and I wanted to put that up, and I haven't even done that. And how long ago is that now?
I'll remind you.
Yeah,
I'll send you an email.
I really am, as much as I can. I've got the videos, or the days I'm doing the videos, and then I'm just trying to,
I'll tell Eric, can you send Dave a Discord chat? Everybody hit Dave up on Discord and tell him to do that. There you go. You guys, all you Discord people. All right, we got a super chat from FNAF 3 Fan XX LOL. And I just want to say, I've got a kid that plays FNAF.
Oh yeah.
The fact that I did not read that as FNAF.
Yeah, Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah, I knew what it was. And he says, "Hi Dave, at 16, how was your art compared to now?" And thank you for the super chat, by the way, FNAF 3.
My art was utterly and completely undeveloped at 16. I would draw skulls in school. I didn't even really do that much, really. I didn't draw. I never saw it as a possibility. I really wasn't aware of comics. So yeah, it's not something I took seriously until later. I don't know where I would have been. I will say, I don't think I would have been very far along at 16. Different people develop at different ages, some people are more mature, younger.
You got hired at 17?
Yeah, but I was not a mature person. I was very immature, and it took me a long time to actually think to myself, what, I need to get my life together. So I don't think I would have been that far. But ultimately, it's, I guess, if you get there eventually. He's got the other pieces on his webbing has the cross pieces also. I haven't put that in yet, just because I find once I get all that in, it clouds up a little bit, and I have trouble seeing my lighting and so anyway, if anybody's curious, I don't know, nobody mentioned it, but
I was thinking about it.
That is why. It'll be in there.
Because I was worried. We have another super chat from Steve Hood. Thank you so much for
yes,
the super
thank
chat,
you, Steve.
He wants to say, thanks for the stream, and would using a 3D rendering program to reference light and shadow be acceptable? When does using reference go too far?
That would never ever be too far. Not at all, because you're creating, when it goes too far is when you're using somebody else's. Now, okay, I say this and then I'm looking at my Jorge Safino. But I'm not just copying, I'm not looking at it and copying Jorge Safino figures or faces even. What I'm doing is I'm drawing the face and I'm going, oh, I like this lighting pattern, and I try it, and so it's not a swipe. Seriously. But if you're doing something on, in 3D, it's your own work, and oh yeah, no, that, and there are no rules when it comes to anything you create yourself to create your art. Absolutely.
Dave, can you zoom out a little bit?
Yeah.
I think people are missing, and potentially,
Maybe not quite that much, because then you can't see.
Right. I'm not saying that you did it wrong.
Uh-oh.
But maybe the webbing under his armpits ends mid-torso, not behind his back. Is that mid-torso? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Just look mid-torso?
What are we talking about?
I don't know.
Did somebody say I did it wrong?
It says the webbing under his armpit ends mid-torso, not behind his back. I don't know what that.
So, more like here.
I guess.
Okay. I'll fix it.
Let's just get when you don't use reference.
Oh, you know what? I've drawn them that way for covers and interior pages, and I've never had an editor say, "Oh, that was wrong." Just saying. I don't think I fixed it that much. There. It's better, right? Sort of. Hopefully.
Sure.
Okay.
All right. Edwin wants to know if we'll watch the DC Comics 24-hour fandom live stream.
When is it?
I don't know when it is, and I'm going to say I won't have time to do that. I might tune in briefly.
Yeah, I'll have to check it out.
Yeah. And Liam MG, Dave and Meredith. How to learn how to write comics on demand for any character or company. And I think Liam had a few questions just about writing comics. And I don't know that there's a way that one company prefers over another in terms of your writing. They're looking just for people who can tell stories that fans resonate with. I would say that if you're starting on your writing journey, then it's much like starting on your art journey, in that you need to make sure that you have the underpinnings or the basics. So just like Dave always says, start with your tube form. You need to know with your story how it's what your beginning, your middle, and your end is going to be. And as you're writing dialogue, one of the things I like to do is read my dialogue out loud or act it out. And sometimes when dialogue flows in your head, when you say it out loud, it doesn't. So a great way to help with your dialogue can be just reading it out loud. And then it really is, it's much like art, it's just practice. Like, I think the more I write, the better I get, hopefully.
Yeah.
The more I understand
and I also
the nuance of the process. Like,
I want to say,
yes.
Not to interrupt, and sorry, but
Interrupt.
you need to be a fan of the characters, because you need to know what they're like. When you draw a character, you need to know how they move and how they work. If you're writing a character, you need to know that kind of thing too. But then you can't let yourself get to the point where you're such a fan of them that it can be possible that you just don't want to put that character through too much, because you don't want to see it happen to, that can be a risk. I know Marvel and DC have both experimented, sometimes successfully and sometimes not, with writers outside of comics, like novelists, that kind of thing. And often they're not comic fans at all. And my opinion, yeah, sometimes it can work and you have a great story, but it's rarely fair to the characters, because they just don't care about them. Not much, anyway. Maybe that's unfair. Some cases.
Kevin Pillar wants to know, how do you break down a comic to learn how to write from it? And I would say there are plenty of comic book scripts available that you can find online. Find the comic that the script goes to, and before you look at the script, open your favorite comic and try to write that page. So maybe it's page 5. And then write page 5, panel 1, and describe Batman sitting in the Batmobile. It's dark outside. Rain is splashing. It's a shot, a profile shot. You can see rain through the window behind him. That kind of thing. How would you describe it? And then if you can get that script, then you can go back and see, well, how does the actual writer describe it? I know that Peter Tomasi sells scripts for almost all of his Batman stuff. Like, you can always get Peter Tomasi scripts, and he's a great writer.
Well, he was an editor for a long time too. So not only he is a great writer, he's a consummate professional, a good guy, say the least.
Selling them online, like maybe
hopefully, yeah. But also, he's been in a position to see writers do it wrong for years and years. So I think you learn more as an editor just seeing how things can go wrong, in different unique ways depending on the writer.
I'm just gonna reset make sure I'm at the most current. All right. I hate Google. When you first started drawing comics, was your style consistent, or did it change a lot due to so many influences?
Actually, you know what? It was fairly consistent in my head. I don't know how consistent it was. There's
an essence that you've carried through, because I've seen your artwork from
I tried so hard.
Essence of you that has carried through all of your work. Like,
that essence it's what it is I just couldn't really effectively copy other artists' style as much as I tried, and it was a struggle. Some people can just pick up another artist, like Jim Lee. He could draw like anybody right now, no problem, and then switch right from that to another artist because he's just so talented. It's another level of talent, and I couldn't do that. So I always kind of had a look that I couldn't shake, for better or for worse. I remember I went on to Moon Knight and I was talking to Danny Mickey, and I was thinking, I really want to do something different with this. So, Danny, can you just try something different? And I remember Danny saying, you know what? I'm working on like 3 books right now. I'm like swamped. I'm dying to do this with you. I can't wait, but I don't have time to try and develop your style for you, man. Sorry. I was like, oh, okay. I understand.
Awesome. I don't know. I thought you were pretty established by the time.
Oh no, I was established. I just wanted to try something different, and I couldn't. I don't have the confidence. Like Jim Lee, when he did Deathstroke, he just went with not Deathstroke.
Deathlock?
No, is the Image comic
Deathman?
Well, anyway, whatever. He did a comic.
Just keep throwing death things in.
Yeah, and Deathblow.
There you go. See?
Just have to give me a minute. And he did a Frank Miller style that was just like Frank Miller, but then Jim Lee, and just incredible. And it's just like the balls to just do that, and not only to try something so different, but also to be able to break down what Frank did, but make it entirely his own from page one.
Started off drawing and inking that, and I think you really just inking your own work has really changed how you work as an artist.
Yes,
so
it definitely.
I think it's important just to try new things. Period. You don't have to try to change your style, but part of what helps you grow and develop is trying new things. And not a person says Jim Lee's also been drawing longer than a lot of people have been alive.
That is true. Although Jim Lee was working in comics a whole lot shorter than I have been now, and I couldn't have done that. So, can't take it away from him.
Some people are just the genius.
Yeah, that's why we hate them. It doesn't matter how nice they are.
Stop it. Leggy 100, what kind of whiteout do you use?
I use this stuff right here. This is Uni Posca. You can find that on eBay or eBay, Amazon. I think I don't have a link. Wait, do I? I think I put up a link in this one. Anyway, it's a paint pen, so it's got like a ball in it, and it goes on.
You did. There's a link.
Okay, good. Yeah, it goes on. Like I put it here, and I didn't let the pen dry. So, but a second coat always covers really nicely if you give it a minute, and then I can go over it even with these pens and other types of whiteout. I just haven't been able to do that, so it's good stuff.
You're doing pretty good, Dave. It's 9:54.
Yeah,
So,
I should be done by 11.
stop it now. We have a teenage son that turns into a pumpkin. He's up there, like literally going into withdrawals. He's shaking because he hasn't been streaming for 2 whole hours on this Fortnite.
It is true.
Oh.
All right, you're falling down on the job.
I'm not. I'm just scrolling through. Oh. Good night to everybody who has to go to bed.
No.
No, that's sad. We still have 651 people watching right now, though.
Oh, that's great. And, yeah, anybody that has to go to bed, it'll be up later on. And thank you so much for staying as long as you're able to. And, it gets late. People are just enjoying watching. They're just being nice to you. Really, they're just getting frustrated.
Is that what it is?
Yes.
All right, any tips? Oh, who asked this one? On making a new character.
You know what? It's funny. I was on the Discord. I don't know if it was today. I think it might have been today. And I can't remember. And so apologies, but somebody was designing a character and the response was always write a description of your character down, who they are, what they're about, and then design based on that as a brief instead of just trying to just draw whatever and make a character out of it. And I've never worked that. I always just draw the character and I thought that was great advice. It made me want to actually try and create another character. I keep on the back of one of these days I want to do, a create your own book. And so
that's a good idea.
Yeah, I thought it was great advice. It's incredible advice.
All right. Kevin Pillar. When you read a comic book, is there something an artist does that is a pet peeve of yours? Or, alternatively, when you're working on a comic book, is there something a writer does? That's my own personal question. That's a pet peeve.
Well, for me, I know my pet peeve is always if I have like Wolverine or any character that I really like, and when an artist does something different that I feel like doesn't look like Wolverine, I get really upset. Which is so unfair because you come onto a book and you want to make it your own and, try some different things. But as a fan, you get so close to the characters and they kind of become real for you. And then when they're not done right, and I tell you, I've had people say that, I've like read message boards and people say they were so upset when I came onto a book because I changed how characters looked. And, I feel it. There's no way to avoid it. It's not like I can only draw the way I can draw, but yeah, it's a totally unfair pet peeve, but that would be mine.
All right. And then a question from B. Rake. Dave, any experience with Richard Bennett? He was the first comic artist to ever reply via email to me and provided me with so much insight and inspiration. His work on Brass was amazing. Yeah, his Brass stuff was legendary at Top Cow when I was there. And he came by a few times. He's a really nice, quiet guy, he's, outrageously talented, like over and above. I don't know where he is now. I had heard years ago he was working in like film design, that kind of thing. And I just lost contact. So I don't know. But yeah, he's another one of those guys. Another one was Aaron Weisenfeld. He was another Wildstorm artist that was just ridiculously talented, and he ended up going into fine art. He's a painter, and he's outrageously good at that. But I'm very sad that he didn't stick around and do more comics. People have asked if you like Sam Keith's Wolverine. I think I know the answer to this.
Sam Keith's Wolverine is best Wolverine. And okay, Mark Silvestri, come on, but yeah, no, Sam Keith's Wolverine is my favorite by far. And every time I draw Wolverine now, I'm trying to make him look like Sam Keith. His Marvel Comics Presents stuff. There was an art dealer that had a cover from Marvel Comics Presents. Actually, I think it was Jason, and I wanted to buy it so bad, but I knew there was no way I could go home.
You could not bear to walk in the door and show your face here.
Yeah.
All right, another super chat question from SCS Powerlifting.
Thank you again, SCS. Always appreciated. Thank you.
He says, I find that my style sometimes lacks detail. How do you know when to add more and when you have done enough?
I've over detailed things so many times over the years. I might have even, kind of done it here. I'm gonna have to clean this up a little bit.
This is a painting problem more than anything. I'll come down and look at your paintings and be like, oh my gosh, it looks awesome. And then I come down and I'm like, what happened? Because you just couldn't stop.
Yeah. And then sometimes I can recover it, but
yeah, you recover it.
Not always.
But not always, no.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. There's no
practice. Yeah,
really, it's true. There's no easy answer for that. It's you have to over detail and make a mess of something in order to know where that line is. So when that happens, I wouldn't be too upset about it, because it's part of the process, it's part of learning, and it's it's a journey. It sounds so trite to say it, but it's true. It is, and it's the only way to do it.
Thomas wants to know if you think Mark Texiera or Bill Sienkiewicz would be a good fit for you as an inker, or do you think they would alter your work too much? Bill actually did Batman. Who
It was the Inkwell challenge.
Yes.
And a whole bunch of different inkers inked my Batman for it was all for charity, and Bill Sienkiewicz did one, and it's incredible. And you know what?
It did not look like it was the most dramatically different.
Yes.
Like a lot of people really tried to maintain the Finch look, but Bill just totally took it in Bill direction.
I knew he would.
Awesome. Yeah. I mean, that's what Todd did with your Spawn too, right?
Yeah.
So
actually, Todd's Spawn was closer to mine than it felt like mine still. Yeah. But it would totally change my art, but I would kind of be okay with that. It's tough to give up. Like I have a look that I'm going for and whatever, but I would love to be able to work with Bill Sienkiewicz for like a couple issues or whatever, just to learn the way he thinks and maybe pick a few things up and see what I can take away from it. Also to say that I did a book with Bill Sienkiewicz.
That's right. We have a super chat from Daniel Castelli. Thank you, Daniel. He wants to know if we can get a composition lesson someday.
Yes, absolutely. And thank you very much for the super chat, Daniel. I've been thinking about a composition video for a bit, and I think I've been a little hesitant to do it just because it's some things are very innately easy to teach, and then some things are a little bit tougher. And composition is innately easy to teach on one level. Like so much so I could look at this. This is all how to draw comics from Marvel, and this is why I haven't done it, because all of this stuff. So here's my cover, and I'm going to do a triangle composition. This is like the classic Frazetta, here's my hero, it's a scribble, but whatever. And then there are a couple people below him, and, he's got a sword in his hand, and like I put a moon in the background. You know what I mean? Triangle composition. Or I could do a team of heroes, and here's another one here, and another one here, and, it's a scribble. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even know why I'm trying to draw this. It's such a mess. But, and then, so here's another composition. And again, how to draw comics the Marvel way. So here I've got my central figure, and they're like, oh no, and they got their arms out like, and then there are a whole bunch of people all surrounding them, and they're reaching in toward them in a circle. How to draw comics in Marvel way actually has nice drawings that go along with these ideas, but that's the concept. So that's another one. And then and then there's like framing. So here here's a panel. I've got a guy here, he's smiling, he's in the corner, and I don't want to just have it open like that, so I'll just draw like a a shadow over him, triangle, like this. And I could even draw a shadow behind him along the wall and maybe like close it. So I'm just framing him with a shadow. And a similar concept to that, I could do this all day. You know what? I should do this video. Except I'm like totally blowing it with crappy drawings right now anyway. So here's one I really like. I've got my guy in the foreground. He's all shadowed. He's looking into the panel. This is such a mess. Am I even in the picture? I think so. And I'm going to draw like a pillar of a building. Maybe there's like a cracked wall here, or maybe this will be a window, you know, and he's looking down, and then there's my other person standing on the ground way below, and it's framing with a shadow like that.
Okay, but this is, all right, great.
Anyway, it's okay, but it's very, very simple concepts. You can get it all from How to Draw Comics a Marvel Way. I've read books where they go so in depth with such ridiculous stuff that I'm just like, what are you even talking about? I mean, it's just like trying to turn art into a science, and I think you're turning it into gibberish. My opinion. Maybe I'm not smart enough to understand it.
No, but that is a good. Basically, what Dave is saying is How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way.
Yeah, it's got everything. Like, it's got all of the best compositions in there. And then, you know, it's not everything. Like, you can always pick up more, but once you have a good framework and you can pick out the basic shapes that people are using, and they always use similar kinds of shapes. I mean, they're like tropes, really, but they're tropes because they always work. Like, especially this kind of shot right here, I use this kind of thing all the time, everywhere. And you would think that you use something enough, people would start looking at it and going, man, that panel again? But people don't. And I remember when Mark Silvestri showed me that, I remember like, wow. And I would look through his book and see it everywhere. You don't see it if you're not looking for it.
Right. Another question, Leggy 100. Dave, in front of me, I have I Am Gotham by you and Tom King. How did you approach drawing the plane? Was this SketchUp or movie still reference? How did you go about it? Oh my gosh, I remember that page, that plane page.
Yeah, it was a nightmare to try and figure out how to make all that stuff work. It was an incredibly well-written script, but there were things that were really, I think, just logistically incredibly difficult, and so it was like very much left to me to try and figure it out. And yeah, problems. I use SketchUp for that. I don't have time to, you know, if it was years ago, I would have done it properly and I would have drawn it all out, but yeah, I use SketchUp.
All right, Dave, how's your Spider-Man coming? Well, I only ask because my bladder's getting full.
Thank you for that.
Look, I have had 3 children. It's, you know, I could take a break.
You could take a break. Yeah, I'll be finished fairly soon, but not that soon. So if you want to just jump out for a minute.
No, I don't know that Canada sells Tombos in Walmart.
No, you pretty much have to get it on Amazon, or another great place to get it is JetPens. JetPens.com. They've got everything, and they're fast. I like ordering from Amazon because they're fast, but JetPens pretty much just as fast. So that's where I get either Amazon. If I can't find it, I get it at JetPens. Here, let me actually bring up the Armpit Studio says a book called Framed Ink is amazing for composition and storytelling. That is absolutely true, and that book is such an exception to the rule. I've got it on the shelf somewhere. I've read that book like 5 times. It's incredible. Thank you for the recommendation. That one is great, and he does actually get into some depth where I start, you know, struggling to understand a little bit, but yeah, I got so much out of that book. It actually made a big difference for me, and I read it, you know, a couple years ago. Kanar White, I'm sorry, hold on. It's scrolling back up. Oh, wait. Cannon White, thank you so much for the super chat. It's very appreciated. The question is, hey, David and Meredith. I've got a glare here. Loving these live streams. Just wanted to say again, thanks. Every piece you do is a tutorial. I'm literally applying it to my work as we speak. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. I'm glad it's you know, been valuable for you. And if you're drawing, please come by the Discord and, you know, show everybody what you're doing. We have a great community. You know, you can get critiques or, you know, just some moral support for your artwork. And thank you very much again.
Sorry for the little bit of reality.
Well, you could have just said, I need to take a moment. This is the way that people do it.
I'm tired. I've told you that.
I need to take a moment. Just remember that.
I need to take a moment.
I've got this too low too, I think. I'm going to fix this one too.
Oh, dear. All right. Do. Ferris Jabbar. What percentage of blacks on a page do you consciously implement in a darker and lighter mood page? Do you have a percentage? You ever think about it?
No, I don't think about it, but I do know if I want something dark, I tend to go over dark, and especially like you can shadow something so the only thing you see is a little rim light, and then even shadow behind it because the rim light will support that, and I love that sometimes. So yeah, and then there are times I can go very light with something. I never do. I always put a lot of shadow, but and the colors can really do it all for you. So, and it's amazing how much like I've gone way too dark on scenes that are clearly supposed to be daytime because I just get carried away, and I've got Frank D'Armata having to completely try and salvage a daytime scene out of it. That certainly happened.
Comic Art says it looks beautiful, Dave.
Thank you, Tomek.
All right, and Jigsaw 808 wants to know, hi David, is there a field that you'd love to try applying your art to but haven't had the chance yet? Like murals or storyboarding, animation, 3D rendering? Is there a next step for you? Oh, pardon me.
I would like to paint more. I would want to be a fine artist. I don't have the mentality for that. I experimented with ZBrush a long time ago now, and I really enjoyed it, and I just kind of fell away. It's just so hard, to find the time to do some of that stuff. I think that would be a lot of fun. I'd enjoy doing ZBrush again. Something I'd really love to do is do a create-your-own comic, or maybe for the one that I'm doing now, and do like the statue for it. But it's like such a big thing to take on when you don't know what you're doing, So I do find with ZBrush, it's so much like drawing. I can actually make a character look like my art, but then getting all the parts and everything, because there's just I can sculpt a piece of clay and make it look like a head, and I can get so much out of it, but then to get all those pieces working together in something that actually makes sense, and let me scroll here quickly. That is what I'm afraid of. So maybe I don't know, with some help at some point, because I'd love to do some of it. That would be a lot of fun. You know what? If I had a superpower, it would be stopping time, just so I could not only meet my deadlines, but also just so I could pursue different types of art and hobbies. And, I'd love to spend 10 years being a ZBrush artist. I would love it. Or, spend time being an environmental artist for games. I don't know if I could pull it off. I don't know if I could pull it, but it would be great to be able to just pursue some of those things.
I remember when you were like obsessed with ZBrush.
Yeah, I loved it. I still love it. Every once in a while I'll still watch a tutorial, and I know I'm not really getting anything out of it, but it's just, I find it very relaxing, even if I'm not really learning anything, just watching the process and watching something happen. I really enjoy that kind of stuff. So yeah, I would love to do it. I don't know that I'll be able to.
GDJGTSTHRDC. Maybe this is something that, unlike FNAF, I'm not in the know. But he wants to know, they want to know, how do you organize your time when practicing art?
Okay, so your major goal when you're trying to learn how to draw, you have to learn perspective. Perspective is it's such an important thing, but honestly I wouldn't spend a huge amount of time really, because it's something that I don't think that you need to have artistic talent to learn perspective. Truthfully, I think it's very much a totally learnable thing.
I can learn perspective.
Yes. Oh yeah. Well, you did the leg thing, so I don't know. There's like no limit to what you could do, but. Yeah, you could totally learn perspective for sure.
You say that.
Okay, anyway, I'm talking in circles here.
Right.
What I would say is you really want to concentrate on your figures. So the way that I would do it is you wake up in the morning or whenever it is you wake up and you block out an hour. Now, this depends on how much time you have. Let's say you've got 2 hours to draw. Then you block out half an hour. And you just do gesture drawings. So I would say find a comic artist that you like. My Frank Frazetta book, and I'm going to say like whatever, that figure right there I just think is cool and I want to give it a try, and I just do a quick sketch gesture drawing from it. I'm going to do it right now. I want to show you what I would do, and I spent hours doing this. Are you getting concerned because you want to go to bed?
At some point.
Okay, I'm still doing it though. I want to make sure I'm on the screen here. Okay, so here he is. Here's his body. It's not a full figure, so it won't take long. I've got a hole for the head here, a hole for this arm, which you can't even really see. His neck is coming here. I get people, how do you attach the head naturally to the body? Well, you have to learn the structure, but really it's learning, it's gesture drawing to get comfortable with the kind of poses that work and are natural. His other arm is coming out here. And I think such a great way to get used to hands is just, somebody that's an expert at hands, just get to the point where you can hopefully do it better than I'm doing right now. Anyway, I'm not trying to get detail or anything. It's a gesture just to get the feel of the character. I don't really want too much. What I want is just, and I generally would do, characters that have like legs and that kind of thing too. You get a little more out of it, but this is the point. All right, finish this up. Oh right, oh sorry. Anyway, so you do that for half an hour if you've got 2 hours, or longer if you've got more time, and then you want to work on legs. Let's say the legs are something, so you can actually find, just go online, you can find great anatomy diagram stuff. You don't need to find a book for it. Just type in human leg anatomy and you'll find everything you need, or human armpit, whatever, and spend the rest of your time just do that, and do that for a few days until you actually have a basis of the muscles throughout the leg that you can draw without reference. Close the book, where everything goes. It doesn't need to be drawn perfectly, but that's how you do it. Do the same thing with arms, do the same thing. And then once you kind of have that kind of working, you don't want to just stop. You still need to keep working on that. But that's when you want to start putting whole figures together, and use your gesture drawing, which you've been working on in the mornings, to give you your basis, which this is what I did with Spiderman. I did my gesture drawing, and then I'm drawing the muscles that I have learned on top of that. And so much of the way that I'm doing the muscles, like that leg right there, that is such a, well, it's my attempt at a Joe Quesada leg. There's some Mark Silvestri in there. There are artists that do these kinds of, and I've picked it up from them over the years, pieces here and there. And eventually, I'm not looking at reference for this, but it's very much based on all of the art. This is not based on a photograph of a leg or any kind of life drawing. If that's what you want, then that's the kind of reference you need to use. That's not the kind of work that I do. So the kind of stuff that I look at, I figure, okay, I want to be a comic artist. Now, I don't want to be a clone of somebody, but I can take this piece that they do, and then I can take this piece that another artist does, and you just work on those things regularly and just keep trying to improve your figures. And it's like a rinse and repeat kind of a process. And you might find, let's say you're a huge fan of Neil Adams, you say, okay, you know what, this month is my Neil Adams month. And so you start and you do your gesture drawing from Neil Adams, and then you start actually just draw a face that he's done, and then try and do it on your own without looking at it. Anyway, this is the process to learn how to do it. It really is. It's a simple thing. You don't want to be wasting your time too much. Like, I think it's important to have fun with it and draw if you want to draw a cool picture of Batman that's just your own kind of a thing and do like this full thing, do it, because it's got to be fun too. But in order to learn, it needs to be focused, and you want to focus on the kinds of things that will help you grow, and that is focused concentration on your weaknesses, on the areas of the anatomy. Hand gestures, that's something you can use your own hand. What? Sorry.
We have another super chat.
Sorry. I'm just.
On a roll right
I know
now.
I'm rambling. Okay, sorry. All right. Go on.
Interrupt.
Okay.
But I don't want to miss the super chat if you're wrapping up either.
I'll be finished in about an hour.
All right, we have a super chat that was all very helpful.
Good, thanks.
You're welcome. Anthony G has a super chat question.
Okay, and thank you very much, Anthony. Very much appreciated. I see. Yeah.
Hey Dave, do you think doing pencils, inks, and colors is beneficial for getting gigs and recognition, or is it better to master one?
My opinion, it's better to master one. That isn't a universal opinion, and if you can do all three well, you are unstoppable. So I don't want to discourage you from doing that. I personally would never have been able. It's just too much. I think you need to have an honest look at if your pencils aren't phenomenal.
You're mad at me for interrupting you, by the way.
Oh, okay. So, well, if your pencils aren't phenomenal, everything that they need to be, you are very confident, then don't work on your pencils, because it's the most important. Your drawing is the most important. That's what you should be concentrating on, totally. But if you have that really working and you're comfortable, then yeah, absolutely. I mean, you make yourself so much easier to hire for an editor, because you're the whole package. They don't have to worry. Now you also have to meet deadlines doing that too, so that's another challenge. Okay, sorry.
And see you, Daniel. Daniel super chat us again to let us know he had to go. But
thank you so much for coming, and thank you again for the super chat.
Hopefully we'll see you next week.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll be drawing Venom, the other half of this picture. So.
And I'm sorry for interrupting your rambling. I know you were dropping some awesome knowledge, but I also feel really badly when people super chat because they,
Well, and I kind of get repetitive too when I get on a rant.
You were ranting.
I know. This is what happens when I draw and talk too, because I'm truly not even. I don't even hear myself speaking. I'm just going. I don't even know what I'm saying.
I'm like, oh my gosh, he's not even breathing right now. He's just going. He's like you're like a lawnmower, like one of those wind-up toys. Somebody wound you up and sends you loose.
It's funny. I can be really quiet. I'm not an outgoing person at all. But this is actually why it's so good having you here, Meredith, because it's like we're talking, and I'm comfortable, and so I can. I think it's been good. I would not be able to connect as well without you here.
It's my Sunday night time with my hubs.
Yeah.
And 600 of our closest friends.
Absolutely.
Sketching the Beast wants to know if you can release this as high-res so we can ink over the top of it.
Yeah. It's already inked. Would that make it more difficult?
No, probably.
I will, though, if it works, absolutely. You know what? That's something, actually, I wonder if there's a way that
I will say this. I'm always hesitant to do that, sketching the Beast, for the following reason. I can't tell you how many times we've been at conventions.
I know.
And people will come up with a print that has been colored by somebody of David's artwork, and then ask Dave to sign it. And so, while I appreciate the colorist is trying to make money, oftentimes / all the time, nobody asked permission to take Dave's artwork and then profit off of it.
And I don't say anything, because the last thing I don't want somebody to come up with something and then make them feel bad, because there's nobody buying it.
So
whatever. It's why we
I
know it's a small.
It sucks.
Yeah.
But
it has been
it's been an issue in the past.
Yeah.
So there was always a hesitation to put it out.
I'll do it. I'm doing it.
All right. So
for you guys.
I'm just telling you guys right now, if you're at a convention and you see this piece colored and it's not being sold by Dave Finch, you hunt that person down.
No, you don't. Leave him alone.
Okay.
You're not hurting anybody.
No, yeah. Everybody's got to eat. And Sheldon Martin, thank you so much, Sheldon. He super chatted to say that I'm doing an amazing job. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Well, I'm saying thank you. It's not even me, but yeah, thank you. All right, I'm kind of...
Oh no, somebody just said, oh my gosh, he's Sketchmatic's like, woo, I can finally pay attention to the stream.
Oh no.
But we're ending.
Well, I'm still zoomed in just a little bit here. Let me zoom out. So this is where I'm at. And if it weren't for the webbing, this would have been done 3 hours ago. Not the webbing in his hands, but also just on his body. I enjoy doing it. I did find actually in a sketch like this, it got a little messier. It takes quite a bit longer for a cover or something, just because all these points that I'm now erasing kind of need to line up. I can't get away with this kind of mess, but it's what I don't want to do. I want this to be as nice as I can possibly make it, but at the same time, I don't want to be on the stream going like this, for which that's what it would look like for hours. So it's a compromise a little bit.
So Adam Harder says, hey, Dave Meredith, I was lucky enough to meet you at Windsor Comic Con. Yay, Windsor!
Yeah.
Last year, and Dave looked at some of my work and told me I drew good carnage, and I think about that all the time.
Oh, that's great. Hopefully I'll be able to see your work again at
sometime. Or
the Windsor show. Hopefully that'll come back. Yeah, and I'd love to see where your work is now. I can't tell you, it's a huge thrill for me, and I've had this happen where I go to a convention and somebody shows me their artwork and it looks great and I'm excited about it, and then I see them the next year and it's just head and shoulders above, and it's it's exciting professional work, and I mean that's incredible to see. And especially the people that have, because for me, when I was trying to break into comics, I went to other artists and I showed them my work, and some artists were incredibly supportive, and it's still to this day it means so much to me. And yeah, it's just so great to see somebody develop and make a career out of it. I mean, I wish this kind of a job on everyone. I love it. It's so much of the meaning of my life doing this. Like I hope that all of you that draw, that want to do it as a hobby, I hope you get as much enjoyment from it as you can and peace from it as you can. And those that want to do it as a job, I hope that it works out for you and that you find it as rewarding as I do. All right.
So Dave, I have to say, Walden Wong art.
Yeah.
Hey Walden, so awesome, Dave. Keep up the great work.
Walden Wong's here?
Yeah.
Wow, thank you so much for coming and watching this. I can't believe it. That's really great. Walden also, for all of you, has a YouTube channel. I learned so much from inking from his incredible inks on his channel. I'd highly recommend you. I'm showing inks with pens, and I'm jerry rigging it a little bit. That's proper inking. He knows what he's doing. He's a master, and he's got a great channel. He's a great teacher, and he's just fun to watch. So yeah, thank you so much, Walden, for coming. All right. On that note, I think we're going to wrap this one up. He mostly fits in the screen. Well, he mostly fits in my... I don't know if he's fitting on the... Anyway, here we are. Okay. So thank you, everyone, for coming. Meredith, if you want to...
Thank you, everyone, for coming.
And...
We'll see Venom next week.
Venom next week is going to be a little bigger. It might actually... I think it'll take a little longer. But he's got no webbing.
He's got no webbing, so there you go.
And we will see you guys next week, the same time, or maybe Monday. I'm not sure. Are we gonna?
It'll be Sunday next week.
It'll be Sunday next week. And yeah, if
we'll figure it out. We still, before we can make a change, we got to talk about it.
Yes.
We got to do some planning.
Yeah, and if you enjoyed this, hit like and subscribe and all that kind of thing. It's always appreciated. Everyone have, I want to say, a great weekend. It's kind of over. A great week.
We'll move to Monday when I have the t-shirts made.
There you go. All right. We'll see you guys next week. Thanks again.
All right.
Have a good night.
Bye.